Howdy, friends. This is Owen Thomas, and I play Twisted Fate in League of Legends. And you're listening to The Gaming Outsider. Only 2 jokers in the deck, and I get dealt you.
What's up, goers? Zack here, and on this week's episode of the Gaming Outsider podcast, CB, Alyssa, and I are taking a look back at the Xbox 360. We share some of ours and plenty of your favorite memories and games from Microsoft's second attempt at the console market. In news, Sony had another State of Play this week, which included a new and great look at Resident Evil 4, as well as a new and disastrous look at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. As far as new games we've been playing goes, you'll hear CB's thoughts on Atomic Heart, Alyssa's thoughts on new psychological horror visual novel Saintmaker, and Rel and Spencer stop by to give their impressions of Redemption Reapers and Another Bar Game, respectively. This is the Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to the Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com. It's Sunday, February 26th. I am not Scott Clark. I am, unfortunately, Zach Parkerson. I wish I was Scott every day. But joining me this week, I have CB, Chris Behrensmeyer's here.
Hello, friends. I would make fun of like Scott over being an old man or something, but he is actually at a metal concert today, so unfortunately.
I love Metallica. That's metal, right?
Oh, wrong choice. I would not pick that one.
That's why I was picking an old man choice, somebody out of touch with the culture.
Ooh, I think even they were out of touch with the culture.
Well, anyway, we also have the far too pretty Alyssa White here this week.
Aww.
Yeah. Those were actually Scott's words, but I will take them from you, Zack.
Well, they mean more coming from me.
That's true.
Yeah. Are you a metal fan as well, or what's going on with you, Alyssa?
I like some metal music. Depends. Right now I feel very hot in the face.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be great. I'm weird today, so this is gonna be fun.
I think I have that effect on women.
I was about to say, I think it's because pre-show Zach was walking around without a shirt on, and it got me a little bothered too.
Yeah. It's just you got the McConaughey's thing going. I just can never find my shirt.
I know.
Sit down. All right.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, thank you. I'm to tell you people about a Go meetup for the pinball movie because even though I can't be there,
I can't either.
I might be there.
Excellent. Well, my understanding is Scott's going to be there, so if you like him, as part of the Beloit International Film Festival on Friday, March 3rd at 5 p.m., the Pinball movie is being shown, which Pinball tells the story of Roger Sharp, the GQ journalist and real-life pinball wizard who in 1976 helped overturn New York City's 35-year ban on pinball. Boy, that seems really close to Scott's heart.
It does.
Yeah.
Both the directors and Roger Sharp will be in attendance. Go members, you guys will meet up for drinks afterwards, which is great because Scott always loves to drink with anybody. Tickets must be purchased in advance as they won't be sold at the door. $10 or $5 for students. Please come. By Scott Clark, the Gaming Outsider himself.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're. I didn't realize. I don't think I knew pinball had a 35-year ban.
Yeah,
I didn't
it was
either.
because pinball was, if I remember.
Devil's
Well, no,
game.
if I remember correctly, it was considered gambling.
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Did
a
it used to
weird
pay out-
story.
They didn't used to pay out money, did they?
No, never. But
That's weird.
though some people are just like, them games.
It's just classic out of touch old people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we're not out of touch, which is why, Alyssa, you've been playing Dead Space this week.
I actually beat it. So yay.
Yeah.
Excellent. How about that lackluster final boss, huh?
Yeah, it took me 3 tries.
Oh, interesting.
It's a lot of tentacles.
Yeah, there are a lot of tentacles,
We'll have to
and
leave that one alone.
yeah.
Nothing PG I can say about that.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's fun. The last boss is, I don't know. It didn't age well. I guess it wasn't even good at the time, though.
True.
Yeah. I was actually a little disappointed with that part of it. But
Yeah. I love the rest of the game, but that boss fight, nah.
Yeah. So yeah, Alyssa, you love the game by the end of it?
I did. It was
I
very...
really want you to go back though for New Game Plus.
I would do too because I want to see this new ending.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the new ending.
I'll tell you.
Well, don't tell. No,
Oh no, I'll tell you. It's
Oh.
it's different. I like it.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you for weighing in. Yeah. Well, you have to collect some stuff, right? I don't know. I don't want to just YouTube the new ending. It feels lame
Yeah.
to me. So I got.
Is it just based on collecting everything, or
You have to collect 12 markers, and then
okay?
unlike me, who thought you just collected the 12 markers, you actually have to take them to the captain's cabin and place them.
Oh, interesting.
Then finish the game.
I guess you have to make them whole.
You do.
That was great.
So if you don't place the markers like I forgot to, and then continue on, yeah, you don't get the ending.
Well, way to go.
Yeah, I'm a dumb kid sometimes.
Well, that's why you're going to wizard school.
I know.
Arytha.
Still doing spells and stuff.
Yeah, you do some Merlin trials.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I like the Merlin trials. They're a lot of fun.
I don't even know what they are. Are they like Breath of the Wild shrine challenges or something?
Yeah, just some of them are stupidly easy. Like,
Yeah. Well,
shoot this rock. I shot the rock. Oh, you passed the trial. Good job. You're as smart as Merlin.
Here's your gold star, Sonny.
Man, I'm still taken aback at like how good this game is. I literally can't stop playing it. And now that supposedly there's like a sequel in the works to this too, and possibly a TV series. So I'm like,
Well, the sequel seems like a no-brainer. 12 million copies sold already.
Oh, yeah.
That's an insane hit.
Yeah, I was like, is this doing Elden Ring numbers? I'm like, yes, it is.
That's what I was reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from the sales analyst, is that like compared to the same life cycle time or whatever, it's actually selling faster than Elden Ring. Who knows if it will have the same kind of lasting effect? But that's pretty significant.
Yeah, I mean, granted, this game does kind of have a clock on it. Like, there's only so much you can do, and then but the idea that you can actually play through the game multiple times with different houses still, and have different side quests based upon those houses, I'm like, okay, there's a little bit of staying power. So
Yeah, I think it looks cool. It's it was purchased for me for my birthday. It's just been delayed due to weather, so I'll get to it eventually.
yeah,
I think it looks cool.
so
I'm intrigued to see if I'll get the same house I have on Pottermore,
What
Oh.
house are you?
Gryffindor.
I'm Ravenclaw.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Gryffindor.
Yeah, Gryffindor bros.
I'm the lone person that's not in the same group.
I love on Pottermore, they do the little personality quiz to find out your Patronus. Mine's a freaking Thestral, which is cool as hell.
I never did the figure out your Patronus. So
Yeah, mine was a Basset Hound.
Not gonna lie,
I
it's a little boy.
don't see that at all.
I don't
Yeah.
either. I'm like, I don't like this.
I was
Just
just
a
like,
sound.
you're like a Basset Hound. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was hoping for something cooler.
I'm sorry. I mean, you answer the questions honestly, and you get what
Yeah.
you get, I guess.
Man,
I
I'll
have an
have to do this
undead
when I'm
horse
done.
made of bones and skeletal
That
wings.
is so
but
cool.
It's pretty cool, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
What about you? What have you been catching up on? It's been a couple weeks since I've even talked to you.
Oh man, well you'd be devastated to learn I'm playing more Red Dead Redemption 2 still.
Oh, sad.
Because I can't think about anything else when I'm awake.
You just have Arthur Morgan.
Arthur
Arthur
Morgan.
Morgan on your mind 24/7.
Arthur Merkin, because he's murdering everybody.
Just hey man, you gotta pay for them trips to Tahiti somehow.
Yeah, well, that Tahiti already came and went. That dream didn't last. I got to chapter 5, which is infamous for being terrible, and I thought it was great. So I don't know, man. I'm just in love with this game, I guess.
Which one's chapter 5 again?
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's well, I guess I don't know. It's been 4.5 years, right? It's when you crash onto an island in the Caribbean.
Oh
yeah,
yes, I
Yeah.
remember.
Well, I've just heard years of people complaining about it, but it's like 2 hours long. I don't understand what the big deal is.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it when I played.
Yeah,
I
and
think
it's
people.
important for Arthur's character development.
I think people were just so mad because that game was so long in the tooth.
Yeah, it's definitely slow. But the way it's starting to bring all these storylines that I thought were over and done with, they're all coming back together to have their own resolutions. It's pretty impressive stuff. And things in the gang are not going well. And speaking about Arthur though, real quick, Alyssa, because when I started the game, this time, because I know what happens at the end, that you play as somebody else, which also happened in the first Red Dead. But I was like, oh, cool, I'll just blast through this storyline so I can get to that other character. But now I'm like, now I'm really attached to Arthur.
Yeah.
Now I don't want it to end. But I started the game thinking like, boy, I can't wait to get through this Arthur stuff to get to the real guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I'm sad. I don't know. I don't want it to end.
I really did.
I've played this game for like 2 months straight every night, and I still don't want it to end. That's pretty rare for me.
It's for me as well. I understand the feeling.
Yeah, just want to go hunting, hang out with my boys and girls. There's girls in the camp. Don't get me wrong.
Couple.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, Arthur. I don't know. Arthur's just an interesting character. Maybe I'll do a spoiler cast 5 years later. But also I've been playing Tomb Raider Reloaded, which is the new Tomb Raider mobile game on phone. I don't know have either of you played a mobile game called Archeo?
No, I have not.
It was a little bit like it's like an auto shooter where when you stand still, your character automatically fires bow and arrows, and every room is randomized and stuff. Anyway, this is almost a carbon copy of that game, but with Tomb Raider. It's exciting. Keely Hawes, who voiced Lara in Underworld, Anniversary, and Legend, is back, but the game itself is boring as hell.
Oh no!
I mean, it's like okay, but it's just whenever you log in, there's 17 notifications they have to take care of, and 8 currencies, and it's got all that mobile game design, stink on it.
For once, can we just make a mobile game that doesn't have all that crap?
Well, that's what I don't like. Marvel Snap came out, right? And when you log in, you basically have 2 notifications at most to ever take care of. And it's so refreshing. And it doesn't, give you a pop up of something to buy the second you log in, like most mobile games do. I mean, not in my experience, I guess.
I do get the Marvel Snap every now and then where it's like, oh yeah, buy this, because I refuse to buy anything.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I just know with the computing power that we have in these phones, like, can't we just make something decent for mobile that doesn't annoy the piss out of me?
I think you got to get Apple Arcade for that.
No, I will never buy an Apple product. Sorry.
I was saying.
No.
I think there is a version of Tomb Raider Reloaded for Netflix members.
Oh yeah, I think I heard about that.
Where it just gives you like all the costumes as opposed to having to earn them and stuff. But I don't know. I don't want to give Netflix any more power.
Why? They won't have it much longer.
Yeah. Well, also, part of it, because I'm on someone else's Netflix account. So why would I don't want to boot into this game and then lose all access to it when inevitably I can't share a password. That's not good.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Why get invested? Anyway, that's what we've been playing. But why don't we get into this week's news, guys?
Yes.
It's kind of hot.
The seductive, yes.
Yeah, the seductive news. All right, this week in news, we got a new trailer for Lies of P, which is coming out in August and is on Game Pass. That game looks exceptional. Microsoft is continuing its war by signing another 10-year agreement, this time with NVIDIA. Sony did have a new state of play this week, which depressed the hell out of me. And then the big 3 maybe absent from E3 this year, but it sounds like Konami is going to have quite an offering on display. Alyssa, what would you like to talk about?
Let's just get the big news out of the big news. The state of play, which I think disappointed everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's because my heart's going to break for the Suicide Squad stuff, obviously. So let's talk about the other stuff first.
Yeah, let's save that depressing stuff for last.
Right. There were some new Street Fighter 6 characters announced, Zangief, Lily, and Cammy. I don't know if you guys are into this game at all.
I'm not.
Spandex Pro for life. Zangief.
Word.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just because I am a bad guy does not mean I am a bad guy.
Oh, God. I still love the fact that made that in that movie.
Such a good movie.
Dude, they are not playing around. They've learned a lot from Lady Dimitrescu over at Capcom, huh?
Yeah.
Because, boy, those poses they had Cammy doing, I was like, come on, guys. You know exactly what you're doing.
They know what they're doing.
Like that. It's insane. Baldur's Gate 3, right? Launches on PS5 and PC August 31st. It's coming to Xbox later, but I guess they're having difficulties making it run on a Series S. So it's going to be the Xbox version will come later. Are you guys into this game either?
I will.
I've never played one.
Baldur's Gate.
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm sorry, dude. I love Baldur's Gate. It's the Forgotten Realms universe.
I love Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 from BioWare for sure.
Yeah. So I'm excited. It's been a while.
Baldur's Gate 3, but it's been so long since I played one of these CRPGs, even though when I was a kid, these things were my jam. So maybe I should jump back in.
I think you should.
Yeah. I mean, Fallout 2, one of the best CRPGs ever. Resident Evil 4 had a new trailer, which showed off the Mercenaries mode, showed off some new stuff like the Krauser's back, but it's not a QTE this time. A little Minecraft action section, which I don't remember. It was in the game, right? Am I crazy? I don't know. Either way, there's also going to be a demo later, which makes sense. Capcom not afraid to put demos. I think this game's looking pretty good.
Hey, you know what? With Mercenaries, as long as the two best Mercenaries are there, that's all I care about.
Is that Wesker?
Tofu and Hunk.
Tofu and Hunk. Okay. Understood.
I always need my tofu, man.
Yeah. I assume everybody's on board for this game.
No.
Oh, Resident Evil 4?
Oh, for Resident Evil 4? I thought you meant the next one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
Resident Evil 4, I'm there. Pre-ordered already.
Oh, yeah.
They seem to have the tone correct, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
It still looks campy and goofy like Resident Evil 4 was. Because I was concerned they would try to get too serious with it. But it looks like everybody's going.
Kind of like what they did with 2 and 3 remakes, where it's like, yeah, let's go super dark.
Yeah, but those games were even. Resident Evil 4 is such a goofy freaking game. You know, you get chased by a statue that's come to life at a certain point. Like it's just a weird game. But this looks to retain that over the top nature, which is exciting. Destiny 2, Lightfall launch trailer. I don't think any of us care about that. They showed us some more PSVR games. Does any of this speak to you, CB, Master of VR?
No, dude, I canceled my pre-order. I canceled my pre-order for the PSVR 2 and immediately bought
the Master of Virtual Reality
and bought Legos.
Sure.
And like
that's third Millennium Falcon, just in case. You don't want to get every.
No, I actually used it as a pre-order for my Rivendell set. So.
Oh.
Yep. Lord of the Rings.
I'm so disheartened by like how PSVR 2 is doing. Like I just saw a new I finally saw a TV trailer spot for the PSVR 2 today, and it's Ozzy Osbourne of all people.
Oh, I think I saw that he was going to be in it. Yeah.
And I'm like, what a weird marketing piece.
Well, who is that commercial for? You know,
I lost a little bit of faith in the PSVR 2, mostly because it's still like it's still wired. Like we can do better, folks. But then like I saw that trailer and I'm like, wow, like we're even going with what used to be like A-list people in Hollywood, but now are like barely D-list. Like,
I mean, they're also just so old.
Well, yeah, I was just like, what a weird choice to choose Ozzy Osbourne as the face of your commercial. Because I'm like, first off, he looks terrible.
Famous gamer Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you're right. He's not looking great.
They
he does have Parkinson's.
Yeah, but I mean,
now we seem mean. I don't like that.
I'm sorry.
But I mean, they could have chosen anybody. Like they could have got. Yeah. They could have got like Jack Black to do it, and it probably would have been a better commercial.
That would have made a lot more sense.
It would have, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with him being the voice of like Bowser right now, or
maybe that's why they don't want to use him. You know,
that
they don't
could
want that
be
Nintendo crossover.
Oh, yeah, the competition. Yeah,
but they could have chosen anybody. They could have been like, "Hey, Phil Spencer, we'll give you $10 million just to put this on your head for 2 minutes."
That would have been awesome.
And it could have been Phil Spencer just ragging on it, and it probably would have been a better commercial. So
Well, I feel like Ozzy Osbourne's going to sell as many VR headsets as a random person on the street being in the commercial would. Like, I just don't think it moves the needle for anybody.
Yeah. And it makes me so mad because like one of my favorite sci-fi series, they have a game for it. I love Foundation by Isaac Asimov. And like the fact that it's going to be locked onto this piece of crappy hardware that I don't want. Makes me sad.
Can't believe it's $550 and wired.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Spent less on wireless and it works just as well.
Yeah, makes no sense.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Moving on.
Bums you out. Humanity, the new game for the Tetris Effect team. This game looks like Lemmings, right? But you're a dog.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it looks like a neat little puzzle game.
I really hope it isn't Lemmings because I don't want to see people just murking dogs for the fun of it.
Well, you're the dog. You're guiding the humans who are the lemmings.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm fine with...
So he's just imagining the humans. Just...
Yeah, I'm okay with
File
them
off.
walking into a fan.
I'm fine with that as well.
Yeah. We got updates on Chia and Goodbye Volcano High, 2 indie games coming later this year. Naruto versus Boruto, Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections, and then Wayfinder, which I think looks like every other shooter MMO out there. I don't know. That did not inspire me to play it at all.
No.
No.
But speaking of a game that wants to be every other game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League just took all of the wind out of my sails of excitement for this game, which is difficult to do for somebody as into DC as I am, but this thing looks bad.
Hey, you remember when you were super excited for the Avengers when they announced it? And then we just watched that slow motion train wreck happen?
Poor Zack.
Fool me once.
It's happening again, man.
I mean, Captain Boomerang. Did he even throw a boomerang in this trailer?
I don't recall.
It's just so weird. It doesn't look like, as somebody who, reads DC Comics every single week from the comic shop, this doesn't really feel like they're taking advantage of these characters at all.
This seems like a bit of the bait and switch ploy that's been happening in gaming for a while now, where like, look at these beautiful cinematic cutscenes. Never mind the gameplay. Beautiful cinematics.
Yeah. Right. Yes, it's been mostly trailers so far, you're right. Mm-hmm. Or in the gameplay we saw was just brief snippets, but like it looks like all 4 of the characters just play like Deadshot should.
Yeah.
Flying around shooting things. Why does Captain Boomerang have teleportation powers? He
doesn't need them.
Thing. It's just not a thing
he's ever had. He needs his boomerang.
Well, and they understand, they like give it like, oh, he's got a Speed Force gauntlet. I'm like, that's great, but it doesn't feel like that's on, like, it doesn't feel like you're respecting the source material. It feels like you're trying to fit the source material into the shooter you want to make. Same thing with Harley Quinn having this grappling drone thing, swinging around like Spider-Man, as she's never done in a single comic book. But I guess is core to her character here.
Yeah.
It's just...
It feels wrong.
Then, like, when they show the menus, I'm like, you couldn't have made a more anti-Zack game if you tried.
Oh no, those menus are horrible looking.
Loaded with plus 0.2% frost damage when you fire in the westward wind. It means nothing what they're saying. Critical hit damage, 258%. Okay, that means nothing. What are you talking about? And then they use guys, they said the word gear score, and I just about blew my brains out.
Oh.
And then always online, even during the single player campaign.
Yeah, but
that's inexcusable.
But here's the like the moment you say gear score, I'm like, so this is a farm game.
Yeah, exactly. They just it's just a game where you'll be grinding loot.
Man, it's almost like I said, we played another comic book variation of this with slightly crappier characters.
Yeah. Well, this got my Justice League in it. I want to see that.
And it's Kevin Conroy's last performance as Batman. And
yeah, how depressing.
It's almost like every time somebody's like, hey, you want to make a good comic book game? Look at the Arkham games. No, we're going to do our own thing. And we're just going to stare at Destiny. Because Destiny does great.
These are the people that made Arkham.
I know.
What are they doing?
I'd like, you have a rich universe to pull from. And I know you and I have talked about it before, where you're like, I'm ready to move off of the Arkham games.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, so you go from the Arkham games straight into a Destiny clone.
Yeah, just no inspiration or originality at any point in this game. I think that like Wonder Woman cutscene looked cool, but I'm gonna have to play the game in between those story moments. And based on the grindy nature of those menus, I don't think it's gonna be. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be especially story driven.
I'm sorry to say this, Zack, but I think the people that have the DC licensure should just stick to making animated movies.
Well, they know how to make those. That's for sure.
Because they do a good job with those. I mean, the Arkham series was a banger. Like, don't get me wrong. Everything else that they've tried to do, because
Gotham Knights was fine. I didn't hate it like a lot of people did, but I also didn't like it.
Or that the Super Pets game.
Oh yeah,
yeah, you forgot about that one. Or
I got on my shelf for some reason.
Oh god, what was the game with Star Sapphire?
Oh, DC Superhero Girls?
Yep, there you go. There's another one.
Dude, it's wild that DC Superhero Girls is probably the best DC game of the past half decade. It's probably the best DC game since Arkham Knight. 8 years ago is DC Superhero Girls for the Nintendo Switch.
That's
insane.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel property, phenomenal. Loved it.
Great game.
And then you just have DC, who just seems to be spinning their... DC has turned into the Sony of gaming.
What?
Zack's face.
Wow. My brain just hurt for a second. DC, like, with everything that's going on with Sony PlayStation, where they're like, we're determined to be the bad guys, everything that DC does outside of the animated movies feels the same way right now. Like, we're not listening to anybody. Let's just keep kicking the can further down the road. And hopefully it hits something.
Yeah, I'm hoping the story will be good, but it's $70 for this game now, the way it's looking. And they're going to want more money from me. They're going to want me to pay for a battle pass, and I'm sure they will do the annoying thing that the comic book video games that aren't Spider-Man have been doing a lot lately, where, well, if you want the iconic costumes that you actually love from the comics, that'll be $30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate what's going on out there.
It bothers. What bothers me the most, though, is these, like, even to play the single player stuff, you have to be online. What if you're somebody who has a crappy connection? That's
absolutely inexcusable. And I don't know, man. When they did the single player connection thing, I'm like, I don't know if I want to buy this game now, which is insane for me to say. But I mean, if it didn't have the DC license, you couldn't even pay me to play this kind of game. Straight up,
Yeah.
Like, I don't like Destiny or Anthem. It's got Anthem energy all over this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just breaks my heart. So I'm sorry I'm spending so much time on it. It meant so much to me.
But it's a game
it's
a game that not only you were excited about, I was excited about. Even Scott was excited about it.
I was looking forward to it too.
Yeah. So I mean, for the longest time, like, we're all just finally, like, this looks like it could be DC's return to form for gaming,
right?
And no,
and it went.
Well, it's just like, how could Rocksteady, based on their track record, how could Rocksteady possibly miss? And I guess 8 years of whatever the hell they've been doing for 8 years resulted in this.
Yeah, I'm still mad we didn't get the Court of Owls game.
Well, we did. Gotham Knights, kind of.
No,
the court's there, but no, it was not. No,
like you know exactly what I wanted.
Well, yeah, no, they turned like a creepy kind of horror-y organization into a random mercenary band, basically, in that game.
Sad.
Definitely. Anyway, screw that game. CB, what did you want to talk about this week?
Let's talk about Microsoft coming with that energy.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, so Microsoft shows up and whips out an envelope with like, Yeah, look at these 10-year agreements in hand for Nvidia and Nintendo. We're ready to play.
Right.
I'm sorry, but I'm still just kind of taken aback the fact that Microsoft exclusives are going to be going to the Switch.
I know.
Right. You stream those bad boys.
Like, to the Switch, and Sony's just like,
Yeah,
no.
they're like, nah, we're gonna hold out. No.
Why? Like, Sony, stop. Just
take the deal, please.
Right. They're kind of digging their own grave here.
like the fact that like so backing up, there was a tweet from the other day where Microsoft announced that they were signing a 10-year agreement with Nvidia that will allow GeForce Now players to stream Xbox PC games as well as Activision Blizzard PC titles, including Call of Duty, following the acquisition. There is quoted as saying, "We're committed to bringing more games to more people however they choose to play." Just
right.
This is huge.
Yeah, I mean, a shout out to Kevin Honigford, our producer, sharing this news with us because as he let us know, you know, if you're a PC player with an Nvidia Shield, you can play Xbox, you can play Call of Duty anywhere. You can just stream the Xbox games anywhere you are, which is pretty cool.
It is.
But you're right, CB. I mean, this is a shot across the bow at PlayStation.
This wasn't a shot across the bow. This is a full broadside.
Which is weird. Like, again, I'm not super on board for this acquisition. I wish it would just happen already so we could stop talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you see more and more evidence like this. It's just like, why are you not allowing this? Like, why is this not just a sealed deal already?
Like, the fact that there will be written proof that you're going to get free games. Like,
right.
That, and I think even Sony and Nintendo are allowed to charge for them. Like, they're not just free.
You mean GeForce Now and
well,
Nintendo?
No, like I think Nintendo can charge for them, but like if Sony was able to sign it, they could get it too.
Oh, sure, yeah, but Sony doesn't want to play because if Sony signs the deal, then they have no chance of dismantling the acquisition.
But at this point in time, what disadvantage is there for them? They don't make any money off of this. Like, yeah, whether the deal goes through or not, they make zero money off of this. So,
right, well, I mean, their alleged fear, right, is that Call of Duty will go away, then they can't get the free 30% cut anymore for something that they don't put any money into.
Yeah, but at the same time, like now you have a contract that says, congrats, you can still make your money, you can still have the things. There's just certain, and like I believe if I remember correctly, they even said Nintendo is getting Bethesda titles, which means
right,
yeah,
Starfield could be on the Switch. I don't think the Switch could run it.
Well, I assume it'll be a streaming version,
but
probably
the fact that like even the things that every Sony person out there is like afraid of could be taken back. Like Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield could be coming to PlayStation if Sony would play ball.
Right.
And Sony's just like, no, we don't want to.
Well, I wonder if part of the gamble for them is that, you know, if Xbox's acquisition goes through, they're kind of in a position to still sign a deal with Sony anyway. That way the acquisition doesn't look like it was done in bad faith or whatever. So Sony, I don't feel like Sony's got a lot to lose by not signing right now. Well, at least when it comes to Call of Duty.
Well, especially because now if the deal does go through, Sony's playing off the back foot then.
Right, but I'm thinking in the world where, you know, I don't know European laws or whatever, but if there's any way to appeal the acquisition after the fact, if Xbox refused to sign that deal, it's not going to look good for them. Or it's not going to look good in general.
Well, I think Microsoft wants to bang out these deals before.
No, of course. Yeah. No, I agree. I understand that.
And I actually think it's in Sony's best interest that if they were going to deal with them, to sign it before the acquisition is done. Because after the acquisition is done, they owe them nothing. Not a thing.
Well, I agree with you. I'm saying that in the perception, if they don't sign a deal with Sony afterwards, then it looks like, oh, they actually weren't willing to allow gamers to play anywhere.
Yeah, it's definitely like it almost feels like Microsoft just keeps bringing more and more and more to the negotiating table.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a gamble on Sony's part. I agree with you. I think the odds aren't in their favor anymore. They should probably just try to sign that 10-year Call of Duty deal they were offered a few months ago.
Well, but what's bothering me about this whole thing is like Microsoft is literally bending over for everybody but themselves right now. Like they could buy like Activision Blizzard and it just goes horribly wrong for them. And they're signing all these deals with everybody, trying to be like everybody's buddy right now. And I love the energy. So the fact that Microsoft's like betting essentially the farm on this, and you really only have one holdout, and all these boards and everything that are investigating all this stuff. Because I remember, what was it, last week I was talking about where they're like, oh yeah, why don't you just break the company up and then just buy the pieces? I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because you're doing the same thing. It just bothers me that like, this should already be essentially a done deal if it's going to go through.
You would think.
Yeah.
But it's bothering me more that like Sony seems to be the person that's like literally just sitting there pissing in the pool saying, nope, I know it's your house, but screw it. I'm just going to do whatever I want.
They got to go. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you, man. I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around still why Disney bought Fox with no problems, which seems like a much bigger deal.
Oh,
especially
yeah.
especially with the amount of things that Disney already owns.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure.
If they're worried about being anti-competitive, that seems far more concerning than Xbox having Call of Duty.
Yeah, like, hey, look, we own 2 major stations.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But in the end, like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen at this point. I'm just tired of talking about it anymore. And
You look tired.
Honestly, I'm tired of all 3 of the companies right now. Like, you have Nintendo, who just sits back and does nothing, Sony, who fights everything, and Microsoft that's trying to be everybody's buddy. Let's just...
I mean, PlayStation out here being comically evil. But you know what? At least we have Sega giving 30% raise to all of their staff, Nintendo giving 10% raise to their staff. I believe Capcom and Koei Tecmo are also giving raises. Yeah. Hey. So there's a couple
good news.
There's some couple good things out there.
Yeah.
It's all happens to not be American companies, you'll notice, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Anyway, then I think there is some rumors about Konami bringing some games to E3, but I don't know, it's nothing concrete. I think we saw a 3 remake, which we've been hearing about forever.
Yeah, it's. I still don't know why they just don't remake 1. Like, why do we choose 3?
Well, it's the best one, so that makes sense. May as well start with the best. Work your way down. It's also the earliest point in the timeline, so
that's true.
Guess there's some argument for that.
Yeah, I guess that's. But I want 1 to be remade. That game deserves it.
Their counter, I think, would be that Twin Snakes was already the remake, but I'm with you that. Yeah, I want to see Moses Island in today's graphics.
Well, I never got to play the first Metal Gear Solid. I just played 2, 3, 4. So I would like to play it.
Oh man, yeah, it's tremendous.
Let's just throw Metal Gear in there while we're at it.
Sure. I can't wait to get to that part where if you sneak fast enough, you can catch Meryl changing in the bathroom. Can't wait to say that in PS5 graphics.
Oh, it'd be censored.
Oh yeah, if it was on Nintendo, you get everything.
Oh, Nintendo,
but,
yeah.
But Sony was like,
Sony.
no, no.
Right. PlayStation's afraid of
The
butts.
ray of light.
Yes, unless it's American-made butts. It's really strange rules over there. The Last of Us had tons of Last of Us Part 2 had plenty of nudity.
It's true.
Yeah, so if it's American, it's okay. But we can't have those waifus get naked. Them's the rules here at PlayStation Land.
It's so bizarre.
Yes, it is.
I'm more excited about this next part of this. Like a new Castlevania.
New Castlevania. I don't know, man. That just seems like wishful thinking. Maybe I'm wrong, but you had Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. People will love that, I'm sure.
Yeah, and you get to play as Trevor Belmont in a section.
Yeah. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's a new Castlevania. It's just they had a hit show on the air for 4 years and didn't make one.
Yeah, but here's my take on this. If they're going to make a new Castlevania game, what kind of Castlevania game is it going to be? Are we going to get the traditional side-scrolling Castlevania? Or are you going to get like the 3D terrible, like
Castlevania 64?
Yeah.
No, my guess would be you would get a 2.5D Metroidvania gear-gated game.
So almost like a Bloodstained?
Yeah, something like that. That would be my assumption, because I think that's what most people are most familiar with.
I'm honestly shocked you said the M word, Zach.
Yeah, M
word.
I kind of threw up a little bit in my mouth. It's just because I'm playing Metroid Prime recently. And I was thinking earlier today about how terrible we are at coming up with genres because of Souls-like and roguelikes. And I was like, dude, we don't even try anymore, do we?
Yeah, but
Nope.
But you did coin your phrase, which does work.
I think gear-gated sounds better.
It does.
I've also heard other people say search action, which I think is better than Metroidvania as well. But I prefer gear-gated.
No, I like gear-gated.
I even say gear-gated 2D adventure now. So,
yeah, dude,
it's a very catchy little phrase.
The problem is outside of our community, though, when you say a gear-gated game, people are like, what? There's gears?
But if you think about it, and it's alliterative. Although, quick aside, guys, I don't know, Scott Clark got to achieve his dream and be on the DLC podcast with Jeff Ganata?
Yes.
All right, I want to take a quick shot at this guy. Because they were talking about Metroidvanias, and Scott said, yeah, or as my co-host Zack would, he would make me say, gear-gated 2D adventure game. And I just want to say, for the record, I never added the 2D adventure. That's all Scott. No, that is a mouthful that only Scott Clark's brain could produce. I just say gear-gated game, because that's all you need to know. But Jeff Kanata now thinks I'm a dunce. And that's unacceptable.
Well, yeah, anyway, because you can have a gear-gated 3D adventure game.
That's true.
Of course. Yeah, that's just gear-gated
So we
game.
Just go with the gear-gated game.
Yeah, Metroid Prime. That's a gear-gated game. Absolutely.
We go with the Triple G game.
Right. There you go. It's a gangsta game. Triple G. Anyway, I just had to get that out of my system for some reason.
Had to vent.
Yeah. I don't know. That's good. Hey, Scott, if you're listening, you're good on that show.
Yeah. We're proud of you.
Moving on, we are an independently funded podcast, which means we must pay for our podcast hosting services, website, all on our own. That's why we have a Patreon page for the beautiful, sexy patrons that help us. Fans can contribute monthly to help offset the cost of production, as well as get back to our community, such as with game giveaways and the like. If you'd like to help out, you can do so at patreon.com/thegocast. You get a $3 a month level, get you some bonus episodes. Alyssa, what current episodes do we have available for people?
Okay, I just got put on the spot. But currently, we have The Last of Us HBO series spoiler cast that Scott does with John Davenport from The Hollywood Outsider, and I believe also, is it Troy Heinrichs that joins it? I probably got that wrong.
No, yeah, I think Troy does. Yeah, he probably speaks at 1.5 times speed, I imagine.
So if you want to listen to that, we have that available, and we also have the Beginner's Guide to D&D with Kevin. So if you're looking to get into D&D, Kevin's your man.
Absolutely.
It's honestly like the best DM I've ever had. He's a phenomenal guy.
He showers you with gifts.
I know. Plus when you give Kevin a little adult beverage, he becomes a really fun guy.
Absolutely. But yeah, I was on that D&D episode as well. If you somehow need more of me after I hosted this disaster.
Of course people do.
If you say so.
I say so.
Yes, ma'am. You're the boss.
The boss lady.
You, my boss. Anyway, upcoming episodes. Allegedly, there will be a God of War Ragnarok spoiler cast with Scott, CB, and Alyssa. Games that are for us episode, which we do often. So, we don't know what game it'll be yet, but those come regularly. And then there's a trade-off episode between Scott and Kevin of Grandia 2 and RoboTrek. So again, if you want any of that, patreon.com/thegocast. Let's roll into the games we've actually been playing. All right, in terms of new games this week, we got Wo Long Fallen Dynasty. It's a new Souls-like. We got to come up with a better name, guys.
Yeah.
That's from the developers of Neo and Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, an absolute banger. You can play that on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC March 3rd. Speaking of Castlevania, Dead Cells Return to Castlevania comes to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC March 6th. Outlanders makes its way to PC March 7th. More Castlevania-esque goodness with Romancevania, Date Some Monsters on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC March 7th. Little Witch Nobita comes to PS4 and Switch March 7th. Paranorma Site, The Seven Mysteries of Hanjo adventure game. What a mouthful.
Yeah, that's a long title.
Switch and PC March 8th. Dude, I couldn't believe this next game. Do you guys remember Xenoclash on Xbox 360?
No.
It was a first-person brawler, but they're making a sequel. And I think this one's in third person, though. But Clash Artifacts of Chaos, 12 years after the last Xenoclash game. Coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC March 9th. Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse makes its way to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and Switch, as well as PC March 9th. The Last Spell Tactics game comes to PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC March 9th. Ib puzzle game comes to Switch in March, or not a puzzle game, sorry, this is a kind of looks like a creepy little, almost like an RPG Maker horror game.
I think it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. You got like Mad Father, if anybody played that back in the day. Comes to Switch on March 9th. Monster Energy Supercross 6. Man, they really crank these things out. Comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC March 9th. And then lastly, Oni Road to the Mightiest Oni. Using Oni twice in the title. Bold move. Comes to PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC March 9th. CB, what are you looking forward to on this list?
Oh, there's only one choice for me.
Is it Dead Cells Return to Castlevania?
No, it's not.
Really? I thought you were Dead
Fatal
Cells guy.
Frame.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Oh, come on, dude. I love the Fatal. Remember how mad I got when Maiden of Blackwater wasn't coming to the US at first?
I do. Yes. No, I definitely do. I just thought you loved Dead Cells.
I do, but I've already been I'm okay with putting Dead Cells down for a bit because Fatal Frame.
No, I understand that. I guess I was wrong.
I just found out about this because this one actually completely flew under my radar at first until I was scrolling through my Xbox like, oh, what's new? What's coming out soon? And I was like, there's a Fatal Frame game coming to Xbox? That hasn't happened since the original Xbox.
Right, yeah, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly.
Yeah, so it's been a hot minute. So I'm excited.
Is this a new Fatal Frame game, or is this a remaster or a port of an old one?
I'm not 100% sure. All I know is I saw it, immediately smashed pre-order, and was like, mine.
I could be wrong, but I believe it was a Japan exclusive game until now.
Is this the Grasshopper Manufacturer one?
That I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
Not sure. All I know is Fatal Frame.
I know they made one. Alyssa, what about you? What are you excited about this week?
There are two. First up is Fatal Frame, because I do like me some scary games, and I would love to, get the camera obscura again and scream while taking pictures of ghosts, because I get very scared playing games. It's funny for everyone that gets to listen to me, with just my dad. He thinks this is a game. So, yeah. And then, of course, Romancevania, it's a Castlevania, but also a dating sim. It's just too intriguing for me not to want to play it.
Yeah, did you see the Bazumbas on the pumpkin lady?
Yes, I saw that.
Oh man,
did you just say the word Bazoombas?
Is that not? Do people not say that?
No.
Well,
I was like,
she's-
what did you just say?
She got big knockers,
She does.
titties,
She does.
as it were. Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm just amazed that the word bazoombas came out of your mouth.
You can motorboat a pumpkin lady if you need to.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if you can actually do that in the game, but
Wow, I'm surprised. I'm with you, Alyssa. I think Romancevania is the most interesting game on the list. I think it looks delightful.
it does.
I want to date some monster ladies. Yeah, just saying.
You too. Wow.
Absolutely. Alyssa looks a little monstery. Anyway.
That sounds like an insult.
I was like,
no, I like
like-
monsters. Well, you know how, lady who's, it's a lady in the street, but a monster in the sheets.
wow.
This is what I've heard. Anyway.
I have to go get the hose.
You guys could take over. I gotta take a cold shower real quick. Anyway, CB Atomic Heart, huh?
Yeah.
Speaking of horniness, Atomic Heart seems like a horny game.
I don't know if I'd quite go there, but
Doesn't the vending machine want you to impregnate her?
yeah, we'll get there.
I didn't know about this vending machine.
Nora, a machine after my
Nora.
own heart. Yeah,
Oh,
name
yeah.
is Nora. I was not expecting that. So, like I said, we'll get there. Wow, this game. I am shocked. This game is great. I said this on the Facebook post, but to me, this game is if you took BioShock and then just smashed it into like Duke Nukem and then sprinkled on some Blade Runner.
Okay.
So those are Duke Nukem's a real curveball in that mix there.
Also, Blade Runner.
Oh, it's such a when I first booted this game up, I felt like I was playing Russian BioShock just because the look of everything. Oh, and you can throw in a little Halo too. Which
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like this game feels like it's paying homage to so many different games. Like your character, so you are in essentially a advanced city in the USSR. Like say Russia just took it to the next level and like did their own thing in the Cold War era. And so like everything's technologically advanced, like you felt in BioShock where everybody's like working towards the glory of humanity. But then things go wrong. And
As they often do.
they do. Especially because it was I don't want to spoil like what it actually is, but it's so cool because you're this character who lost his memory, walking around just like life's great, talking to my buddy on my hand, which happens to be an AI companion.
Oh, like Cortana, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like the cuff from Forspoken.
Yeah. But you can do things and interact with the environment, and the character tends to be a little crass.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, so we've got some BioShock, some Duke Nukem. There's a lot of steampunk and futuristic vibes to give you that Blade Runner feel because you're constantly talking to replicants.
Okay, gotcha.
I was just like, this game feels like a mashup that shouldn't work, but boy, howdy does it. It is so gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, the art design is just quite striking.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. But you get such a creepy vibe when you're fighting these robots because they have like these unnatural looking faces. So you get this horrendous uncanny valley feel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, It's such a fun game. And then you have Nora, who is your weapons upgrade and skill tree usable item, who is awfully horny.
She's down to clown.
Dude, I was playing this game and my wife was sitting there, and the things that this robot says, she's like, what? Like, stuff your sword in me so I can upgrade you further.
Yeah.
I was like, I am shocked. Oh, also the AI that you use is very German
Okay.
and your character may or may not make Nazi jokes at him.
Oh no.
Oh.
I was like,
boy.
this game just, like I said, really feels like it's pushing some boundaries, but I'm for it.
I'm gonna say good for them. What is the moment-to-moment gameplay like? Is it like BioShock where you're kind of exploring the city?
Yep, exploring the city, guns. It's like it just your first weapon is an axe.
Okay.
So you almost get a little Gordon Freeman feel going.
I was gonna say, or like the wrench from BioShock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it, like I said, it just feels like there's so many callbacks to other games, but it blends it together so well in such a gorgeous environment.
I was gonna say, but it stands on its own. It's like the Darksiders, but for first person shooters.
Yes.
Like no original idea, but it's still kind of cool anyway.
Yeah. But just the combat feels so good. Because even like your base weapon, just because you're fighting robots with an axe, like it takes a good few hits to do anything with like anything to them, and you get like a shotgun and you can kind of beat them up a little faster. I didn't expect this game to really like hit this hard with me, especially like the fact that I was playing Hogwarts Legacy, but I'm so entranced and like enthralled with this world that I want to know where this story is going, because I'm still so early in the game that I'm like, what is going on?
Does it have audio logs and stuff?
Yeah,
as well.
Okay.
So your little hand buddy, who is also your lock picker, by the way.
That's what I call it these days. Huh?
You'll pick up essentially what look like pocket watches, but he like opens them up and like reads the pocket watch and like discerns a story from it, and you get like audio logs, which is really cool. But no, like if you come up on a locked door though, because your buddy is essentially a bunch of tentacles that come out of your hand with lights.
Bro, what is with this game?
I'm telling you, like it's so explaining this game feels so weird. Especially because, like, when you're not
playing... Yeah, my mind went to a different place when you said...
like I said, when you're playing this game, it seems like, wow, like everything... But when you have to explain this game to somebody, because they can't immediately see it in front of them, they're like, what are you playing? Like, what is this? But, like, you hold up your hand to the door, and the tentacles come out and go in the lock, and it does the fallout where like you actually have to like turn it and you feel the vibration of the lock. I know, dude, it sounds weird.
Zack and I are just like, mine's in the gutter.
Well, you two, your mind's been in the gutter all day. So I'm like,
this vending machine wanted you to bang her. Okay, we're not totally off base here.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah,
because your first, and then I will tell you right now,
it's like
more weirdness. The first time you run into this vending machine, your tentacle hand person tells you don't go in there, nor is in there. So you think it's some big bad monster. You open the door and tentacles grab you and try to pull you into the machine, and you have to fight the tentacles with your tentacles. I can't make this up, man. Like,
I say, this is not our fault. The mind of the gutter thing. These devs were clearly in the same headspace.
Yeah, there was some horny devs working on this.
That's what I'm saying. Like the promo art is all those like the sexy robot twins,
which you
like
only see
over.
for like less than 5 seconds so far that I have in the entire game.
Right, but they know what sells.
Which that entire sequence of events felt like the most padded piece of gaming ever.
Really?
There's this big fair going on. You're walking through the city. And it says, "Oh, go meet this guy upstairs." You go in the building. You go upstairs. The robot twins are there. Hand you a key and then tell you to go back downstairs, get in a car, and drive away. I'm like,
Weird.
you couldn't have just given me the key to the car? Like, why did I have to spend this minute elevator ride going up to walk into an office to get a key to turn around to walk back out to go back outside through the fair to the car?
That's weird, but the fair itself kind of sounds like BioShock Infinite, where it gives you a feeling for
It's just
for the
walking through there. It feels like the whole Comstock thing. Just videos of like the doctor, like hard Soviet propaganda. So I was like, hit this game, and then like with that entire basis, playing this game in this time frame also feels super bizarre. It feels like a game I like. If like Scott would always tell you about, like when he was playing Bayonetta and like looking over his shoulder to make sure people weren't watching him. That's how this game feels. I'm like, the dirty robot's talking nasty to me. I'm playing a Soviet propaganda game. Like, who's watching me? And dear God, did I turn off Alexa?
Well, it is, pro-Soviet, but the world is also a disaster, right? So, it's not like it's saying that the Soviet Union was a path to success.
Oh, I know. But that first like 10 minutes of the game, I was just like, I feel awkward.
Right. Well, it sounds just like how, BioShock Infinite is total American propaganda for the first 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you fight like robots that are like George Washington in that game and so, So it just sounds like those same kind of ideas.
But man, like I'm loving it. I will report back when I get farther into this game. It's so weird. Like this game is so bizarre.
I mean, it seems very strange. I'm kind of saving it because I'm learning Russian right now, so I want to save it for till I know more, because I think that'd be fun.
Man,
because there are only so many. This and Metro are really the only Russian set games.
I'm trying to think. Like, I don't think I've heard any Russian spoken in the game.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping they have an option in the menu.
Just to set the language to like Russian.
Because even
you can't in Metro,
even the propaganda posters are in English.
Well, maybe I'm wrong, but either way, it has to do with Russian stuff. So it just seems like
man, I want you to play this game so bad, just because
it looks great. Yeah,
I need somebody else so I can talk about this game with them, because I'm just like bizarre.
I do want to play it as well, and not just because of Nora the vending machine.
Oh, you'll love Nora.
She sounds all right.
Just and luckily she's in a safe room.
Oh, okay.
And as long as you're standing in that room, she will keep talking.
So you feel safe from the horrors of war, but not necessarily
from Nora.
Yeah. Like Nora is telling me some things, man. God,
man, she's a powerful lady. She knows what she wants.
Oh, real independent woman. Tell you that right now. She knows what she wants.
So yeah, you recommend this game, obviously, huh?
Yeah, especially if you have Xbox, because guess what?
Game Pass.
There you go. Weird. Anyway, Alyssa,
yes,
as a strong, independent woman,
thank you.
You've been playing Saintmaker on your Steam Deck. This looks to be another visual novel game.
It is, but it's a horror visual novel. So
okay,
and
checking several Alyssa boxes.
It is. This is actually very accessible, though, because the majority of the lines in this game are fully voice acted. So,
that's unusual.
The only parts you actually have to read are if the characters have an internal thought, and there's not many of those. So, this is actually really accessible for people that want to experience this kind of story, but don't want to have to do a bunch of reading, the majority of the lines are voice acted, and very well done, by the way. But this game does deal with religious trauma, so that's obviously not going to be for everyone. So tread carefully. But I find it really interesting, and just the story is so compelling. I don't want to put my Steam Deck down because it's so interesting. And I honestly don't know if I'm close to the end or if I'm halfway through it, because I saw the developer say it's 4 to 6 hours. I'm 3 hours in, so I'm either an hour from finishing it or I'm halfway through. I don't know yet. But it's so good. And it's so beautiful looking. I do wish the scares were a little more organic, because they are very much of the jump scare variety.
I was say scares seem kind of hard to do in a visual novel, at least to me.
I could see that, yeah.
But
the sound design.
Novice to the genre, so you're the expert.
Yeah, I really haven't encountered too many horror visual novels. I think I played one other one, which was excellent, called Tokyo Dark. That was really good.
Oh yeah.
This one though, it's a lot more subtle and it's more psychological, and the sound design so good, and it really just, the sound design creeps you out more than anything. Like, the jump scares do get me, but they do feel kind of cheap and you can tell they're coming, but the unnerving just sound designs are just what really get to me, and just the fact of them talking about the religious trauma, and there's obviously creepy stuff going on in this convent because your character has been sent to a convent because, being a teenager, her parents are super strict Catholic. They think she's doing horrible things when she's really just being a normal teenager. And basically you're being sent there to be reformed. And there's one other girl there, and it also deals with LGBTQ plus issues as well. Obviously being in this kind of setting that's frowned upon by the nuns at this place.
Right, as soon as I heard, religious reformed, I assumed that there was going to be some gay stuff.
Yes, that is very much part of it. So this does have some issues that some people might be uncomfortable with, but it is really interesting, and it's constantly on my mind. Like, I want to play it right now.
Is all the voice acting's all good?
In my opinion, it is. Yeah. At first, okay. I will say, at first, the main character, I was like, I don't know how I feel about her voice, but now that I've seen her grow as a character, it fits her really well. So I think all the voice acting's great, and I was honestly pleasantly surprised to hear that the majority of the lines are voice acted.
Right, that is uncommon for the genre.
Oh, it is.
That Sister Adira looks pretty creepy.
Oh, she is. But she is portrayed so well by the voice actor. I need to look up who provides her voice, and just what she herself goes through in this. I'm like, it's so good. I don't want to spoil anything. It's just, you gotta experience it to fully understand it. It's difficult to describe without spoiling everything, but I really dig it. And I think if you're okay with the topics it addresses.
So it's a strong recommendation from you.
So far, yes. I haven't finished it yet, but...
For Saintmaker, available on Steam.
And it will be available on Switch in about a month, March 22nd.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah. God, Switch is good for that kind of stuff. We also have a couple of reviews. I assume Scott, if you're missing his dulcet tones, he sat down with Rel to discuss Redemption Reapers for PC, which is a pretty cool looking grimdark RPG. And he also talked with Spencer Cushing for Another Bar Game on PC, which I think was just a demo, but it is what it is. So we'll let you listen to those right now.
I'm joined by a couple of our reviewers once again. First off, we've got Mr. Rel. How you doing, man?
Doing well. We got some rain in town, and that's always a good day in California.
Rain? At least you didn't get the snow. I hear that they're getting all kinds of snow out there, too.
Not here, but up in the mountains, it is apparently pure white.
It's crazy. I got one of my buddies that lives out in Arizona said they got 4 feet of snow the other day. 4 feet of snow. It's crazy. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to talk about a couple games. We're going to start with Rel because he's been playing a game called Redemption Reapers for us. He actually did a little bit of a quick video. I think it was about 20-minute video gameplay. So you can check that out on our website or on his YouTube page. Rel, why don't you let everybody know where that page is real quick?
That's going to be at youtube.com/RelPlays. That's RELLE Plays. And Redemption Reapers, you ready to hear about it?
I am.
It is a strategy RPG that it's good with issues.
Okay.
And the first major issue that I want to get out of the way is the price tag, because it's $50 American. And for that, you get basically around a 20-25 hour experience that doesn't have a lot of replay value, because unlike, let's say Tactics Ogre, which I'm also playing now on the Switch, there's not any difference in the story. There's not like alternate story paths, and you don't have a huge cast of characters, so there's not really like, you can't decide, okay, this playthrough I'm going to be doing all archers all the time. You can't really do that. But on the positive side, it is very solid from a gameplay perspective. It's a strategy RPG similar to Fire Emblem and Tactics Ogre, like I mentioned. It has a much bigger emphasis on combo attacks, where you place one of your units next to an enemy, attack them or don't, and then you attack an enemy with one of your other units, and anybody who's adjacent to that enemy is going to just jump in and
also attack.
Beat on him.
Nice.
Yeah.
That brings a whole different level of strategy to that then.
It is. I like it because of that. And, it's got the standard things. You gain levels and stat points, and you get skill points that can be pumped into certain skills that are either just flat stat upgrades or give new abilities. And I always felt like those abilities were very impactful, because doing more damage, always good. This is a game of small numbers. Like there's not like hundreds of damage being done. It's more like 5.
Gotcha. Now I'm curious, because in the scenario that you talked about, you said like you move your character, your first character, he attacks or doesn't attack. Does that play does that play into how much attack he does when he's the secondary character attacking, or is there any advantage to not attacking that first time?
It does seem like, well, yes and yes. It does seem like there's a lower amount of attack done if you're acting as the follow-up. But the thing is, you can like surround one enemy with 4 characters and just go bam, 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 and just annihilate one of them. And there is an advantage to not attacking with like your principal character that's going up front, because they will get counterattacked. And that's, again, very impactful, because it's a game of small numbers. Your HP starts at like 7. And if you get hit for 3 damage, that's a big chunk of your HP.
Right.
So just moving a character up into range and then moving another character up means that you can just wipe out the enemy entirely, rather than get hit back, move up the second character, hit, kill the enemy, and like, you save yourself some damage if you do it smart.
Gotcha. It sounds like a lot of orchestration, like popping in, popping out. Very strategic.
Yeah, and it's also a very challenging game, because you can you can give yourself an additional challenge by deciding, okay, I'm going to kill all the enemies, as opposed to I'm just going to get to the objective. And then there's also chests scattered around the battlefield in a lot of maps, where you got to take on a bunch of enemies in order to get to those chests, but those chests will often contain like equipment that can be used to really strengthen your troops, or items that can be used to upgrade said equipment, or whatever else. And so it can be very challenging, and made more so by the fact that the stat ups are randomized, similar to Fire Emblem.
Oh, okay.
So you can have characters that just do not gain attack ups or HP ups, and they end up being kind of squishy.
Can you talk about the story and what this setting is? Because it seems a little bit different than like, Tactics Ogre and all that kind of stuff.
So it's the main premise behind the game is the Mort, which are basically the Uruk-hai from Lord of the Rings, are swarming the land. We don't know where they came from. We don't know what they want, but they seem to want to just murder and kill their way through everything. And you play the part of a group of, I don't want to say like resistance fighters, but like they're the ones that are battling against the Mort and trying to free, the world basically. And there's inklings early on that something went wrong a while back that like brought shame upon them, and so you gradually, as you fight the Mort, you gradually unlock more of the backstory as you go.
Gotcha. Now you mentioned that you had it's good but has some issues. What are those issues you talked about?
So for one thing, I couldn't play it at higher than 1080p, which, to be fair, is a perfectly good resolution for most games.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a 1440 monitor, so I wanted to play it in a higher resolution, and I couldn't. Likewise, the UI is really weird because it's very much a game that's meant to be played on controller. It doesn't do very well with keyboard and mouse, but with controller, it's bang on. But at the same time, you can't, for instance, change the button configuration. You can't really change your controls. You can't make the Xbox controllers look like PlayStation buttons. And as somebody with a PS5 controller that I use for PC, that's a little annoying.
Sure.
And likewise, like I said earlier, for a game that's $50, you would expect to have more than that level, kind of bare bones UI work.
Gotcha. So is this a game you're still recommending despite the price tag and minor issues?
Not necessarily in spite of the price tag. I do recommend it. It's a good game overall, but especially when you consider the recent slate of strategy RPGs that have been released, Tactics Ogre, Fire Emblem Engage, Triangle Strategy further back, there's not a whole lot that Redemption Reapers brings to the table that justifies the $50 price tag. On sale, sure, but not for $50.
Gotcha. So that is Redemption Reapers. You're playing it on PC. I believe that's the only place it is right now, correct?
I think the website said it was going to be on Switch as well as PS4. Again, a bit of a question mark why it isn't on PS5. But one last thing I do want to mention, the publisher is Binary Haze Interactive, which was the same people that did Ender Lilies, which was another game that I reviewed, and a very, very good Souls-like game that I definitely do recommend.
Sure.
But I thought that was a neat thing. They basically translated the gritty grimdark of Ender Lilies into Redemption Reapers.
Gotcha. And this one is developed by AdGlobe and was provided to us by Stride PR. So shout out to those guys for hooking us up. Thanks for checking that one out, Rel. I appreciate it. I'm going to move on to Spencer now. Well, hello there, Spencer Cushing. It's been a long time, man. How you been?
I'm great. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing all right, man. I am excited to talk to you about another bar game, which is not me giving a description of the game. The title of the game is actually another bar game. This one comes from Eric Games, which is the developer of a game you reviewed for us a while ago, I think back in 2020, called Dude, Where Is My Beer? You loved that game. You told me it was like your favorite game of 2020, but we've got this new one called Another Bar Game. Tell us about it and how much you like it.
Well, like you said, I did play Dude, Where Is My Beer? Back in 2020, and it was a great game. And the only thing that I didn't like about it was the whole point and click, and I did point that out that is one of my biggest issues with the game. But
not your genre.
It's just not my genre. So this game came out, Another Bar Game, and it is not point and click. It is more of like a run around and serving people and essentially serving beer. You're a bartender in a town with 3 different bars, and you're literally the only bartender. No other bartender, which doesn't make any sense. So you have to go into this bar, and it's the best part of that is the bar's name is Another Bar.
It's just called Another Bar.
Yes, and the wittiness and the commentary is just interesting in this game too. So, Another Bar Game is, like I said, you're a bartender and you have to serve beer. You have to grab the glass, you have to go to the tapper, fill up the glass, and serve the specific beer. The further you get into the game, the more tough it gets. You then have to start serving multiple people. You have more than just one beer.
Wait, you're not just the bartender, you're also the waitress?
Yeah, the server, the bartender, the manager, the janitor, the busboy. I don't know. You're everything. You're essentially everything under one hat, and you have to take care of the bar. And like I said, you go into multiple different beers. The first beer you end up serving on level 1 day 1 is a Pilsner, which is like a homage to the previous game, Dude, Where Is My Beer, where you play a guy looking for a Pilsner in a craft beer world.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then the second beer is called a Bitter End IPA. This one, this one was the most interesting one. It had hints of blue cheese and smoked oyster, but was one of my best sellers apparently in the game.
I don't know if I actually want to try that.
I don't know if
cheese and oysters,
but it's weird because we probably would. Being a beer guys, we would.
Oh yeah,
100%. It doesn't matter. So you, like I said, you get more than one beers, and then you can upgrade certain things in the game as well. So you can run faster to get to a customer at a table. Just be careful though, if you're running with the tray of beers, if you run into somebody or into a table, you can spill and break all of the beer glasses, which then upsets the customers. You can end up leaving a glass on a table when a customer sits down, which ends up pissing them off because the table's not cleaned. It's tough, and it reminds me of Overcooked. I know you played Overcooked.
I have a sore arm from getting punched in the shoulder playing that with friends.
Yeah, that one's a great game, and it reminds me of that because in Overcooked you're given a specific recipe, and you have to go and take care of that recipe, cut up the item, cook it, and then serve it onto a specific plate, and then send it out. It's the same thing. Each customer coming into the bar ends up asking for a specific beer, and you have to give them that specific beer. If you don't, you can end up losing star ratings for your bar. If you end up losing star ratings for your bar, you have to do the day or the level all over again.
Gotcha.
I ended up losing a few times because I was still getting the hang of the controls. But essentially, it's really fun. I ended up running into a few people by accident and spilling all the beer glasses everywhere, and in turn I ended up losing like 3 stars. So it gets difficult the further you get, but it's a lot of fun. And to me, I think this was more fun than Dude, Where Is My Beer?
Gotcha. It sounds like it's more your genre. So it really just kind of sounds like a restaurant management simulator type game, but focused on beer.
I'm gonna go with yes.
All right.
That's pretty much what it is.
Now, I know that this is the demo of the game. The game's not fully released yet. You only got about a half hour with the game, but it sounds like you're recommending it. Is that accurate?
I do recommend that. I'm not sure when it's supposed to come out officially, but if it does come out and it's a good price, I'll probably pick it up right away because it's well worth it. So I definitely recommend something that if you like Overcooked, this is the game.
Gotcha. Sounds good, man. It looks, according to Steam, it just says a release date of 2023. So
yeah,
we don't
there's
have
no
a
official
sure
release date.
So, well, man, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you taking the time to check that out, and I'm sure Eric does as well. So,
of course. I was just gonna say, I hope that Eric Games comes out with another Dude, Where Is My Beer, which I have heard that they are potentially coming out with a second one part. So I'm hoping I get a chance to check that one out. Look forward for that.
Sounds good, man. Well, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you next time, okay?
Thanks, bud.
All right. If you guys are desperate for some more gaming conversation, you can find us over at facebook.com/group/thegocast. We also have a Discord, which you can find the link to in our show notes, as well as our website. And we'd like to welcome Doc Sampson and Jakey-san.
I'm not sure how you pronounce this name. We are sorry.
Yeah,
Jackie-san.
Hanging me out to dry, guys. I appreciate that. Please leave us an iTunes review. It helps us get up the charts, all that jazz. You can find our written reviews over at thegamingoutsider.com, where Alyssa recently reviewed 10 Dates. Jacob recently reviewed Conquer Humanity, as well as you can find Rel's video review for Redemption Reapers there. But without further ado, let's get into our From the Outside In topic. Well, Well, guys, it's been long enough to celebrate the Xbox 360. This week's topic was submitted by Sean Coates. He told us that he misses the episodes where we focus on a specific console from the past, and he threw out the Xbox 360. I'm feeling ancient now.
Me too.
I don't want to hear it from either one of you.
So the Xbox 360, right? That came out in 2005, right? So it's got to be. What is the official designation for retro consoles, CB? Is there a hard year?
It's usually 15 years.
Oh, God.
So definitely it's retro.
It's retro.
Because in my mind, I would say 20. But even if that's the case,
it's usually by console generations. And it's usually like 3 generations ago, which congrats, it is.
Yeah, so we're all ancient.
We're all retro.
I
don't even want to hear it because I was alive during the second gen.
Which would that be? Super Nintendo and
That'd be
stuff, right?
Nintendo. First gen is like Atari.
Oh, or the Odyssey.
Yeah, for the first generation. Those are beyond me.
Yeah, you're so young, little whippersnapper.
Ugh.
I assume we all had the Xbox 360, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no
multiples.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty unavoidable.
Yeah, it was.
Well, all right. Before we get into too much of the Xbox 360, let me take you down a little bit of memory lane here. The Xbox 360 launched November 22nd, 2005 in North America. Went on to sell 86 million units, which, in a crazy move, puts it very close to a PlayStation console, because the PS3 that generation only sold 87 million, mostly due to its abysmal start, which, $600 console, when we know our fans will get a second job to afford one.
Yeah, that was a bad
Insane.
marketing push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a Blu-ray player.
That's true.
Yeah.
$600 Blu-ray player. But you can also play PS2 games. Something I found interesting while I was doing research is that Gears of War, right, one of the biggest games on the system, sold 3 million copies. And the developers thought it was a great console to start making games for, because Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter and Oblivion sold 1 million in their first years. And I just thought that was so fascinating when you compare it to today's sales numbers, because gaming is so much bigger than it even was back then. That, like, if you sold 3 million copies, it's like, well, that's a nice start. For a AAA game, like, it's nuts.
Yeah, but that entire generation, like Xbox 360 and the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're coming off one of the greatest, pretty much like the greatest selling console of all time, the PS2.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the PS2 hung on forever.
Oh, it did.
No, yeah, no doubt. I just think the expectations for publishers have gotten so out of whack is what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the first Gears of War sold 3 million copies, one of the best games on the system,
right? Best selling,
and so when you look at that's a quarter of Hogwarts Legacy.
I was gonna say it wouldn't even be worth it for a first party studio to knock out 3 million copies sold.
Yeah, wow.
PlayStation would be devastated to hear those numbers for Days Gone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you only sold 3 million on one of your AAA budgets, like, congrats,
Yeah.
That series just got axed.
Yeah, that'd be a flop.
That studio is probably done. The best-selling game on the Xbox 360 is technically Kinect Adventures, because it was a pack-in for most Kinect bundles. But Grand Theft Auto 5 is the best-selling non-pack-in with 23 million copies sold. And of course it was, because Grand Theft Auto 5 is the best-selling game everywhere, always, it seems.
God, I like, not to toot Hogwarts Legacy's horn again, but it's already done half of GTA 5.
Yeah.
On the 360. That's insane.
I would say, yeah, GTA 5 overall, I think, just hit 200 million. But, I mean, it's just, that game was such a monster.
Yeah.
To sell 23 million on 360 when the Xbox One would have been out the next year, because that game came out 2013.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. And you had to, like, if you had to, there wasn't enough storage on a lot of hard drives for GTA 5, I remember, because we had to sell USB sticks with copies of the game to people if they had, like, the slim launch model or whatever. or the slim, because the
that was
said like 4 gigs.
Yeah, well, you had the 4 gig
Yeah.
and the 250.
Yeah,
But
so if you had the 4 gig, you had to buy a USB stick to even play Grand Theft Auto 5.
no. You remember the nightmare of the first 360s where it's
with the hard drives on top.
the big old just clunk off. It was like what 20, 40, 60, 120, and a 256.
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot it was so small.
Yeah. Oh, that slim model with the 4 gig was such a nightmare because I was working at
Yeah.
GameWorks at the time.
Okay, so you understand.
And people would come in like, "Oh, I need to buy a 360." I'm like, "Well, we have the 4 gig for like this, and we have the was it the 120 or the 256 at the time?
I think it was either the 4 or the 256, but I might be wrong.
I think it was the 4 or the 120. But no, it was the 256. And so you had the 4 gig or the 256, and people were like, "Oh, well, I want to save some money. I'll buy the 4 gig." And we would warn all of them, "Don't do that. You can't save anything. Like, you need half of that for the operating system alone." And
I
like,
used to not even tell people we had them in stock at GameStop.
You're doing them a favor.
well,
Yeah, absolutely.
I worked for a shady game company that liked to rip people off. So
I mean, I worked for GameStop. Famous, but
GameStop
but,
would look like saints compared to what some of the things that GameWorks did.
I guess that's why GameWorks is out of business, right? Or is it out of business?
Oh, no, it's definitely out of business. The owner went to jail for tax fraud.
Oh, lovely.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, man. I almost feel like that needs to be a Patreon episode in itself, is some of the crappy, shady things that we've had to do at a video game store.
Dude, I'm way into that. We could make that a main show. Anyway,
Oh.
that's sausage making, I guess.
Yeah. So, moving along.
Yes, Halo 3 would be the best-selling first-party title with 12 million, which I guess is not too surprising because Halo 3 was I feel like it took over the world when it came out.
Still one of the best advertising campaigns I've ever seen.
Definitely. Hard agree. Yeah. I mean, I think it was the biggest entertainment launch of all time when it came out, Halo 3.
Yeah, but man, those beautifully shot live action commercials for the hulls of
Right.
humanity.
Yeah, little like dioramas and stuff.
I still want
Yeah.
to know where that diorama is.
It's probably in Don Matrick's closet.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kinect, it was a huge hit. Sold 35 million units, which I had forgotten that it was so popular, but I guess that was the heyday of the Wii. Everybody was getting into the gimmicks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had one. The Xbox 360 started development in early 2003, headed up by Jay Allard and Peter Moore, two names that us, E3 watchers are very familiar with. Remember Peter Moore used to do those tattoos for game announcements?
Oh, yeah.
Where he would roll up his sleeve and it was
Yeah.
like Grand Theft Auto 4 is coming to Xbox because it was such big news. And then his other sleeve had Halo 3.
Oh.
Man, those were the days. I remember GTA 4 was a big deal because the DLC was exclusive to Xbox for a year or two. That was nuts.
Yeah. I still hate when they do that though.
No, definitely. It was just
Mhm.
big news back in the day. Xbox Live, guys, totally changed the game. It fundamentally changed our relationship with video games, particularly because Xbox Live, of course, was on the original Xbox, but it was mostly for downloading a space station on KOTOR or some map packs in Halo.
Yeah.
It wasn't what it was. But when you get to the 360, it introduced a storefront. You could download full games, demos. Remember, indie games started to be a big deal. Braid, winning
Yep.
Game of the Year awards and stuff. The big summer of arcade every year, which I don't know about you guys, I always look forward to. Because it was cool. Because usually if you buy all 4, you'll get $10 back. It's just, I don't know. I just remember those specific things. Xbox Live also allowed the infrastructure to be changed. So we started out with the blades, which I'm sure we're all fond of.
Yes, bring the blades back.
And I love that little when you hold on the bumpers. Fun noise. Anyway, but he upgraded to NXE and the new Xbox experience rather. They were able to give us avatars. They were just able to change and make this video game console feel alive, which is something I love my PS3, but it was the same way from launch to finish, pretty much. The 360, dude, they were doing some magic stuff. Do you remember, you couldn't even install games to the hard drive at first? That came later.
Yeah.
So they could fundamentally change the way your system operated from afar. It's just insane to think of, all this stuff is because of Xbox 360.
It was such an ever evolving system.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they still pay an homage to that. The avatars still exist.
Yeah, they're hidden, but they're there.
They're still there. You can still I was playing a game the other day, and it's you unlocked an avatar. I was like, oh my god, I forgot that's still a thing.
Yeah. I remember. Do you remember when achievements would give you avatar clothing?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was so cool.
Oh, or the fact that we used to hunt down those achievements because you were like, oh man, I need to play this game because my friend got this skin for his avatar by doing this achievement.
Right. You got to get in on it. That was, I don't know. That was such a cool system. It's kind of a shame they abandoned it.
It's I said, it's still there.
Right, but you're not getting John Marston's hat when you get to shoot somebody's hat off in Red Dead anymore.
I mean, if you still go to the achievements list, it shows your avatar and whatever you've currently done to them.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, my avatar hasn't changed since I don't know, the beginning of the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Mine hasn't either.
Pretty sure mine's still in the same Sam Fisher outfit he's been in since 2010.
Probably.
Yeah.
Still have my bionic arm and lumberjack shirt.
Nice.
I think mine still has the Mass Effect, why can't the Omniblade?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty sure mine still has that on it.
Mass Effect 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Let's not forget, the Xbox 360 came with a headset, so we could all scream at each other on our new Xbox Live systems.
So much fun.
I hated that headset.
No, the headset was junk.
I
was
know.
A good headset.
But I do give them credit for at least attempting. Because that thing fell apart so fast. And oh yeah, you go to GameStop and it's oh yeah, you can get another one for $14.99.
Right. Hey man, if it wasn't for that headset, I wouldn't have ever become friends with Scott over Gears of War.
Aww.
I wouldn't be here on this podcast today.
Man, I abandoned that headset so fast for a Turtle Beach.
I did too.
I never did.
Ugh.
I guess I was a teenager in high school, so I guess I don't know. I was just scrounging from headset to headset. Or did you guys ever do because games would have those 48-hour gold trials?
Oh, again,
I remember
working at a video game store.
Loaded up.
Just
dude, they were
I'm going to trade in this brand new copy of game. Oh, you didn't use this code? Thank you.
When it was prisoners bumming cigarettes from each other with those 48-hour trials when you were a high schooler.
Oh, the really good ones were the weak ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that would be like Gears of War 2 or something like that would come with those. Yeah, I remember because you want to save it. You want to make sure you get through the storyline first and then pump in that code. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh,
it was great. Well, then they could stack too. I don't know. A lot of good memories with that stuff.
Right. Outside of just the headset, though, do you remember the chat pad?
Oh yeah, slotted into the bottom of the controller.
Oh yeah.
I desperately miss that thing,
dude. It used to be, I don't know how. I'm sure you were lightning fast as well, but it used to be if you died in Gears of War, you'd have time to send a message back to somebody.
Yeah,
you can knock it out before you respawned.
I really wish they would actually bring that thing back. Because I hate sitting there scrolling with thumbstick, click.
Oh, yeah.
Click.
Oh, yeah, the little
click.
Virtual keyboard on the screen.
Yeah, I actually loved having that physical keyboard there. And where it sat, it was ergonomic. It felt good.
It was ergonomic, yeah. It was so natural in that controller.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think they dropped the ball by not bringing that thing forward.
Dude, I'm with you. I agree. You could also buy movies and TVs on Xbox Live, because I remember buying Afro Samurai one episode at a time, stream Netflix, all that stuff. So it changed video game consoles into entertainment hubs, which I think helped make more people gamers in general, because, we got to go to this to get on our Netflix anyway. What's that game? What's that game my boyfriend's always playing? You know, all of a sudden you're playing Braid.
Yeah.
I'm saying, gets people in there.
It was really one of the first true entertainment hubs.
Right, which is why it's so annoying when they're like, the Xbox One, they're like, it's going to be your one destination for all entertainment. It's like, dude, you kind of already were.
Yeah.
You know, it was already naturally going that way, and now you just annoyed everybody.
It was, except the fact that the 360 used HD DVDs.
I remember that. It was an add-on, right?
Well, no, like
that
was the add-on because it still used the regular optical CDs. And I mean, that, to be honest, that's why I bought my PS3 in the first place. I was like, it's the best Blu-ray player on the market.
Right.
And it played 3D Blu-ray too towards the end.
Sure. Yeah. Who cares about Uncharted or Infamous? I just want to watch Blu-rays.
The entire PS3 life cycle, I only played 4 games on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's painful.
It was legitimately my Blu-ray player because Blu-ray players were expensive at the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
No
they
doubt. I mean,
were,
that's why the PS2 was so successful, right? It was the cheapest DVD player on the market.
Yeah. And the PS3 was the cheapest Blu-ray player on the market after they got through that first generation.
$599 US.
Yeah, the moment that Slim came out, I was like on board.
Right, yeah. Had to sacrifice PS2 games, but I guess we were all okay with that.
Oh, well, let's look at the bad side of this.
Sure, the old red ring of death. Dude, the Xbox has never released official numbers, but several analysts estimate that it was a roughly 60% failure rate, which is nuts.
Yeah.
I can tell you firsthand, that's not far off the mark.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had 3 or 4 360s.
Again, working at a store that repaired systems, I can tell you that's not far off the mark.
That is just an insane number.
Oh my god!
It is.
But that number 4. Did you have to go through several Xboxes, Alyssa?
I only had one, and it's now with my uncle, and he still plays it.
Wow, that's crazy.
From the original versions, I think when they finally got to the Elite board, which was the first one that they did in the black,
right? Yeah,
I had that one for the longest time, and I actually wound up giving that one to my brother when the Slim came out.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, I still have that working Slim.
Nice.
And you'll be happy to know, Zach, it's the Gears 3 one.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool. Crimson Omen, baby.
That thing is still gorgeous. When you power it on, it makes the beautiful noise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, dude, I forgot. Oh, that's so cool.
Well,
good for you.
When you power it on and when you hit the eject button. And honestly, damn both Microsoft and PlayStation. Because when they make those exclusive consoles now, they don't do crap other than slap a skin on it.
Yeah, they don't do anything fun anymore.
Because like the Star Wars one, I know Nate has when you power it on, it does the whole R2D2 chirp noises, and when you power off, it does the wah!
Cutest thing ever.
Like why can't companies do that kind of stuff anymore? Like because you and I both had the Spider-Man PS4, other than a sticker and the fact that it was red. I had the Arkham one, which I sold, the Arkham PS4, which I sold to get the Spider-Man one, which didn't do anything special other than a sticker.
Yeah.
The God of War one, which was literally just some stars and a sticker.
I mean, at a certain point, you kind of got to blame yourself, CB.
Well, and then I had, like, there was only one Xbox One that I ever wanted, and it was the promo that they gave out for Godzilla.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Because they skinned it with like Godzilla's like textured skin.
Yeah.
And when you powered it on, the spines were blue.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's like,
that sounds rad.
I want to. They only ever made 6 of them, and I want to track one down.
One way or another.
Yeah,
we'll get it for you.
I won't find it.
Yeah. I always wanted the Titanfall controller. It always looks so cool on Xbox One.
That's one of the few Xbox controllers I don't have.
I'm surprised to hear this.
It makes, because I have the Fable 3 one, which I still think looks like a swirled turd.
Oh, well, there's a lot of fart jokes in those games.
That's true.
Yeah. I miss the 360 era, because both PlayStation, like all those different controllers, and now they're like, we made a new color. It's Arctic Shock Blue.
They're not interested in fun anymore.
No, I feel that on the hardware side of it, all the companies other than Nintendo have kind of just given up, because Nintendo's like, oh my god, we made a Monster Hunter game. We're going to make a brand new Switch for it.
Yeah, or at least Joy-Cons.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they still stylize the back.
Yeah, no, I know. I was saying at the very least, they will do a, like a Donkey Kong, right? They did the yellow Joy-Cons for bananas or whatever.
Yeah, I think for what the Series X Xbox has only done because I have the 20th, the anniversary controller, and then the Forza Horizon controller.
I have that one as well.
Which that is a gorgeous controller, by the way.
It is.
But I feel that they've all kind of just stopped caring about that.
Yeah. I can't think of any fancy. I think they did a Halo Infinite Series X, right? And that was about it.
Yeah. Well,
they did have that one.
They'll do like those special like promo giveaways, which doesn't feel the same.
Oh, right. Like the Sonic the Hedgehog furry consoles.
You got enter on Twitter.
Gross. It's so gross.
I had all that hair. I want it. Anyway, the Red Ring of Death forced Microsoft to have to give a 3-year warranty to every customer, which is pretty crazy. Peter Moore estimated that all told it probably cost the Xbox division about $1 billion by the time all the problems were lessened. That's insane money. If I lost $1 billion in my job, I probably wouldn't have it. They never did find out what the full issue was. I think it had something to do with the soldering, but the hardware team said they never did find. They never found a fix that solved every case. So eventually, when the Elite board came out, as you're talking about earlier, CB, they just did a full internal revision to try to combat the problems.
Oh, we know what the problem was. It was crappy solder and that stupid cross clamp.
Well, yeah. That's what their estimate is, but. Because they changed the glue at the last second or something like that to meet European standards.
There was so many stupid. What most people don't realize is when you had a Red Ring of Death, there wasn't one. There was a ton of them. Because the Red Ring of Death just popped up whenever there was any issues.
Right, a general hardware failure.
And because my favorite one was the one it had a bad power brick.
Okay.
So it's just like, here's a new power brick, and it would work just fine.
Well, see, that's
All three of the consoles had stupid problems in that era. But yeah, the Xbox was the Xbox. You could at least attempt to save it. The yellow light of death from the PlayStation, that was almost a guaranteed no, it's dead.
Right, but at least it wasn't almost a guarantee. If you owned one, it was dead.
Yeah. Or
the 360, you're basically just operating on borrowed time for those first run of them.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I miss this generation so much because it was such a wonky generation. Yeah. The Wii, even people would like, hey, my Wii won't power on. You know how we fixed it? Shake the Wii.
There you go.
I'm dead serious. There was like a loose wire or something inside the Wii. You shake it, and it would work just fine. And people were like, "How did you fix it?" And I'm like, oh yeah, our technicians took a look at it. We literally just walked around the corner and shook it real quick. I'm like, here, try it now. And it would power on. And they're like, you guys are great. How much? And I'm like, free of charge. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, wow, look at that. I wish you could do that with Joy-Con drifts. Just shake it, make it work.
Makes it worse.
That'd be nice. If they hadn't offered the free, because remember they would ship you an Xbox. They would ship you an empty box to ship your Xbox to via FedEx. If they didn't do that and offer the free repairs for customers, Peter Moore and Steve Ballmer agree that the Xbox would be a dead brand today, which is a no-brainer. If you had to pay the shipping even, would be enough to be like, I'm not bothering with that.
Okay, did you ever ship yours?
What do you mean? Well, they would send me the box,
Well,
and then
I
put it in
know
the box and I leave it out for the mailman. Right?
But well, I'm just saying because you're honestly like the first person I've ever talked to that actually shipped theirs. Because most people brought them to companies like us, and we fix them. And I think it almost
so I'm sorry. So they paid you guys to fix something that they could have had fixed for free?
No. Like, yeah, they paid us, and they could have just shipped it. But the problem is, like, if you shipped your Xbox, you'd be without it for like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. I remember it was like a month or so.
Fix them, and you get it back within 24 to 48 hours. Sometimes, like, if it was a weekend, you'd get it back on the Monday.
Right.
Well, no, for the 360, we actually had like the resoldering station. Like, you could actually do like, you could pop off the chip and like reflow them or just completely resolder them. It got to the point that we just didn't resolder them anymore because that was too much of a hassle. We took your board off, set it on the thing, and just heated it up and remelted the solder, which would probably buy you like 90 days.
Right. Fascinating. I'm just fascinated. Why wouldn't you? It was free. I guess all you had to do was exercise patience, which I suppose Americans aren't great at.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have.
It's so weird to think about that because like the Nintendo and Super Nintendo days, they had like dedicated repair centers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like in this era, like that's why companies like You Break, We Fix, and everything exist because people would go to places like that. And I was like, man, the 360 actually did kind of ruin hardware repair for a lot of things.
That's nuts. Yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I had friends that they just bought a new 360 when it happened.
Well, I had friends that did that as well, yeah.
After my third 360, that's what I wound up doing.
At least you had to get beaten down. It's just, I guess I wish I lived the life where I'm like, I guess I'll just buy a new one.
Well, I worked at a store that if it broke, they would just repair it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not judging you, mostly because I like you, but also you said you had to go through several. But yeah, he had that rich friend that it's like, yeah, I got the red ring, buy my new Xbox, we're picking it up today. What? Just ship it. It's free.
Well, the 4 gig Slim, I think at one point in time, like retail price was $99.99.
Yeah, I do remember that one.
And then because the hardware failure and everything, you could just pull the hard drive out and slip it in, and it didn't reformat. Whereas with the PS3, the PS4, and the PS5, if you put a new hard drive in it, it reformats even your current one.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Whereas, like, because rather than taking your entire console over to your friend's house, you could just pop your hard drive off and slap it onto their Xbox and play your save game.
I remember it was awesome.
Miss those days.
Like memory cards. Yeah.
Just
it was easier back then.
Gigantic memory cards.
Yes, world's largest memory cards. But that's all the fun little 360 factoids I have. Now, of course, we all know the big games like Gears of War, Halo, Crackdown, etc. But do you have any hidden gems from the 360 that you enjoyed, Alyssa?
I played a lot of games that were probably considered more hidden gem-esque back then on the 360 because there were just so many. I played Shadows of the Damned on Xbox 360, Lollipop Chainsaw, Shadow Complex.
Dude, Shadow Complex is so good.
It was. I loved it so much.
I don't know if it's a hidden gem or not, but that game's definitely a banger.
I don't know if it is either.
What a great gear-gated game.
It was. It's really good. Battle Block Theater, I loved that game.
Oh, wow. I forgot all about that game. That was from the Castle Crashers people,
yes,
right?
I can't remember the developer's name at the moment. But yes, it was from them. I was obsessed with that game for probably a couple months. I mean, I played so much. Vanquish. Yeah. Vanquish was great. I mean, I could just go on and on. Literally. Right. Condemned Criminal Origins.
Dude, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love Condemned 2 Bloodshot, man. That game is awesome.
They both were. I loved them both.
Big fan.
So
what about UCB?
I forgot how big the Xbox 360's library was.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh, dude. But yeah, loved Lollipop Chainsaw. But for me, like Bulletstorm
Yes, Bulletstorm.
Oh
I
my
loved it.
God, I loved Bulletstorm when that came out. I played it. That was actually what killed my first 360.
Oh no,
Bulletstorm.
those creative
Inversion.
deaths went a little too far.
Yeah.
So you kicked one guy into a cactus too many times.
Inversion was.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Catherine.
Yes,
first
Catherine.
Yeah. But see, the 360, I played almost every single one of the majors.
Yeah, well, you could do it back then, because it would be one major game a month, maybe.
Yeah, but honestly, the game I lived and died by, I think I played it every single day, was that damn Xbox Arcade.
Oh, where you could go in and play like old Atari games and stuff?
But you could build your own. It was Arcade Paradise before Arcade Paradise was a game. Because remember, you could design each of the levels.
Was it called like Xbox Live Game Room or something like that?
Yeah, Xbox Game Room.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Every single day I was on that thing. And I adored it. Seen It.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, I love Seen It because you had the special button controllers. You get the 4 of them.
I remember, yeah.
I played a lot with those. And then
it was like a board game.
But my Kinect did see a lot of use.
I never had a Kinect.
Oh my God, I love it. The Star Wars Kinect, and then there was a yoga game where you could actually do yoga. I was doing yoga like every day for a few months.
Huh. That's pretty cool. I didn't know you had it in you.
Yeah. So I miss my 360.
Same here, man. As for me, do you guys remember a game called Hydrophobia? It was an Xbox Live Arcade game.
I remember hearing about it, but I never played it.
Yeah, see, now there's a hidden gem. It was a little bit of a 3D kind of gear-gated game, but it was on a sinking ship. Because you were on this like massive cruise liner kind of thing, but it was like a city on a ship basically, and some terrorists decided that they were going to sink it because humanity had already ruined land resources out there. They tried to live on the sea. It was a cool little game, and I don't know if you guys remember I Am Alive.
Oh, I do remember that game. Yeah.
Yeah, I played the hell out of that game. Played it several times. It was only like 6 hours long, which is weird because it was kind of open world, but there was so little like content, I guess. But the game was cool because it really had like, you would find some meat in a freezer or whatever, and then you would eat it because you're so hungry and desperate. But then you find out later that it was a cannibal's house.
Oh
yeah.
It was a dark game. It was super cool. Those are like because there's so many games like I played that were probably hidden gems when they came out, but have since become big deals, like Spec Ops: The Line, or even the first Nier, right? That would have been a hidden gem at the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or Bayonetta back then.
Yeah.
God,
Bayonetta, which
I forgot that. I keep forgetting that Spec Ops: The Line was 360 because that game is still so good.
I mean, it's insane how it was kind of ahead of its time for critiquing violence. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was.
I feel like a lot of games do that now.
I just realized another one, which I guarantee that you played. Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Undead Nightmare.
Yeah, well, those are definitely not hidden gems.
I know they're not hidden gems, but
yeah, but Undead Nightmare is incredible, of course. Yeah,
I forgot how much I miss Undead Nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, Red Dead Redemption is one of the best open world games ever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so much fun.
Undead Nightmare is awesome. Awesome little expansion. The Saboteur we talked about a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really missing the Saboteur. Did you guys play Split Second?
Yep.
No, I did not.
Oh man, I feel like that's kind of gotten lost to time. That game was cool as hell. Racing game where you could destroy airport towers and stuff.
Yeah. I really feel like the Saboteur has been lost to time.
Definitely, yeah. And EA will never resurrect Saboteur.
No.
But Saboteur is great. I really am antsy to play that game again for some reason.
You want to borrow my copy?
Or maybe, yeah. What is it? The Alpha Protocol.
Yeah.
You guys remember Alpha Protocol? That game was freaking cool. Although you could really break it if you maxed just the stealth stat, you could basically be invisible early in the game. But yeah, those are some hidden gems. It's just hard to. There was like some marble game I remember playing a lot on Xbox Live Arcade, where it was almost like a puzzle game, but you were a marble ball. I just can't remember the name of it.
I remember playing a lot of Hexic.
Hexic, yeah, that was great. Came with the 360,
Yep.
right? Yeah, Switchball. Switchball was the name of it.
Okay.
It was, yes, but me and my uncle would play it together. Like we were each playing our own single player puzzle game with this marble, but talking the whole time. I don't know. It was good. It was a good time. Yeah. CB, do you have any special memories of playing on the 360 that you care to share? I feel like we kind of already went over some of these.
The very first time I played through Halo 3, it was my Halo 3 had just come out, and there was. Do you remember Crazy Penguin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do. I have an amazing story about Crazy Penguin that I feel like I can tell you off the air.
Oh man,
I can't tell you. I can't tell you on the air.
Oh.
So, my 360 had died on launch
Okay.
of Halo 3. So my brother and I.
Oh my god, dude, I can't even imagine the horror.
Oh,
No.
dude, it was bad. So my brother and I went to Crazy Penguin, and just like Alyssa, for you, if you've never you don't know what this place is, but it was basically a place that you could go, and they had just racks of 360s, but it was a community game place.
Okay.
So basically, and they had like nice chairs, like individualized rooms where you could play with just your friends. So basically, if you were the kid that didn't own like a 360 or something, you could go there, and they had like a monthly subscription service, and you could play Xbox Live games with other people online. So we went there, and it just happened to be that two of my other friends were there, and we played Halo 3 together the entire campaign on launch day at Crazy Penguin from beginning to end.
That's freaking cool,
It
man.
is.
And it was just because like things like that don't exist anymore.
No, not at all.
And it was fun because like it was having a couch co-op experience with my brother and two of my friends at a place where like that doesn't exist anymore. Like I feel that there's so many things about like that generation that just could never happen again. And it was like one of the most fun experiences I've ever had gaming, because I was able to talk with the three other people I was playing with as we're playing through this campaign, and we're all in the same room. And we all had our own little TVs. So it was great.
I mean, that directly speaks to the special memories I think of are all just, talking to people. I mean, of course, I love the art of video games, right? But but when I think of like the 360 hardware itself, I'm thinking about party chats, and people are coming and going. And sometimes everybody's just playing their own game. They just all want to kind of hang out and talk to each other. And you'd, if there's a story mode, you'd be like, cutscene, and everyone knew it's time to be quiet. Or you would jump into a party chat because you see your friends there, and you're just like, of course, got room, play some Gears of War or something. It was just like this weird community that got built up, and I don't really know what happened, like why it splintered, but obviously it did, because all those people I know are still playing video games, but we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
No, it definitely does feel like I think it's more or less we got older, because my son does the same thing on his Xbox. They have like 8 people in the party, all just talking, and they're all playing different games too.
Yeah, I missed that.
So
I guess.
I think it's just the fact that we got older, because it does, I see it firsthand with my son on his Xbox.
So we get older, we get partners, we have kids. So finally, we're playing a video game. We can finally just be left alone.
Well, I mean,
So we just
how
treasure
often
those
are we
moments.
playing multiplayer games anymore?
Yeah, but I'm saying we're also not party chatting while we're playing single player games like they are, like your kids are.
You built your teammates, I guess, in my world, because I play with my son.
Right.
But yeah, I do miss like hopping on with some friends or randos playing like horde mode.
Yeah, that was great. Or I big time miss when you would play with randos and you guys would talk like regular human beings.
Yeah.
That straight up doesn't exist anymore. Because it feels like the only people left who are just talking in an in-game lobby are the psychopaths.
Or the trolls.
Don't have their, or trolls, but they don't have their own friends to talk to, so they're just being weirdos online. or they're playing their music in the background, so their mic is just their background music the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
Just infuriating.
You'd always have the one person in your friend group that would just be like deep throating the mic.
Yes. Yeah, like, dude, back up. And they're like, no, the mic's not even close to me, man. Like, that's impossible.
Or somebody who had like the wind turbine fan like 3 inches from their head.
I was probably that guy sometimes because there's no insulation in my bedroom. Shout out to my dad, who never believed me until he put his office in there after I moved out, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you were right all those years." It is just whatever the temperature is outside was the temperature of that room.
Oh,
you hear me, Dad? I think about it.
I will say though, like the Xbox 360, it was about the commute. I think that's Xbox in general. It's always been just the community.
Yeah. I think you're right. It is probably just us being waxing nostalgic for a younger age. But yeah, you're right. 360 is where it happens to be for me. And yeah, what I think of most for 360 is that sense of community. Because when I wanted to be left alone and like get sucked into a game, I guess I would gravitate towards PS3 because I had less friends there. But when I was on 360, I was welcoming to any conversation.
Or just turn invisible mode on.
Yeah. I don't know. I never did. What about you, Alyssa? Do you have any fond memories of the 360 era?
Not really.
Are you old like us?
Yeah, I am old. But not really with like multiplayer or anything of that nature. But when I was 18, went through a really difficult period with my mental health, and I got the PS3 first. And then I'm like, you know what? I want to play some Xbox games. And I hadn't really been playing games since I was in elementary school with my uncle. So I had a big break from gaming and fell in love with it again with the PS3 and got the 360. And it just opened up so many more opportunities for me.
Alan Wake.
Yeah, Alan Wake. I love that game so much. But it really just gaming just got me through that period. And it's shaped who I am today. Like the Xbox 360 and PS3, I wouldn't be the person I am today without those consoles because I just probably wouldn't be gaming still. It was really important. Which back then I was just trying to like get out of the mental health like it was a major mental health episode. Didn't realize it'd become a part of my life like years later, but it was a good thing.
You are on a video game podcast.
Yeah. I might not be here if it wasn't on the podcast if it wasn't for those consoles. So yeah.
Understood. Well, while we are but the mere gaming outsider, Scott Clark, of course, had to send in some of his thoughts here. CB, would you mind reading some of Scott's thoughts?
Oh, God. Well, folks.
Oh.
I know only Scott Clark here. No, Scott wants us to know that one of his earliest memories of the 360 was the 0-hour launch party that was held in California in an airplane hangar. I don't think he was there. It was a truly epic moment when they slowly opened up the hangar doors to let everybody inside to play purchase their Xbox 360. Shockingly, they had plenty of supply for everyone. I specifically remember one of the developers of the console getting emotional when they first opened the doors. Really cool, memorable moment.
He had to watch that online.
Yeah, like there's no way you were there, Scott.
If he was, I feel like that's a cool story.
Yeah.
He's never told us.
Yeah, I was like, geez, how are you there? Xbox 360 is where I got my first achievement. That's because that's where achievements exist. This is dummy.
Right. Yeah. You know what? I totally forgot. Yeah. Achievements for Born on 360.
That's where they were at.
That's right. I still crush you, Scott.
Scott was Scott married by the time the 360 came out?
I mean, 2005 to now.
Yeah, I think he was
Yeah.
married.
So it's weird that Hexic was his first achievement then, huh?
Yeah. Well,
See what you did there, Zach?
ooh, the burn on the Scott. Damn, that was cold.
Thank you.
Oh,
But yes, Hexic. Sorry, I totally interrupted. It was he got his first achievement in Hexic, which was indeed packed in with the 360.
God, was that the last pack-in?
No. No, well, PS5 came with Astronaut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad pack-ins still exist because
Astronaut Rescue Mission. I mean, that's one of the best games on PS5. It's one of the very few games that's only on PS5.
That's true.
that is yeah. It is
Still to this day somehow.
It is actually a fantastic game too.
It is so cute.
It's exceptional.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, Scott continues to wax nostalgic, saying, "I truly
Indeed.
believe that the era of the Xbox 360 was when I truly remember being the happiest as a gamer. I miss the summer of arcade packs where you could buy 5 games for the price of 1 if you bundled them all together."
I referenced that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely need to get 5 for 1 though, Scott. There's no way.
Maybe the
You get
last
5
year.
for 4. Yeah. Well, I think it was 5 games. If you buy all 5, you basically get the 5th one for free or whatever.
Oh,
Either way, they were only like $10 a pop back then.
yeah.
Remember what? Yeah.
Then
They would sell games like Trials HD for $10, and no way they would do that today.
Feeding Frenzy.
Oh, dude, yeah, I forgot about Feed Frenzy.
Yeah.
I love Trials HD. Was
Oh.
cool. You can make your own levels and stuff.
Doritos Crash Course.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was free though, right?
Yeah.
And you can play with your avatar.
Yep. Man,
Yeah.
that was a fun one. That's another thing is some of those games on the 360, especially like the arcade games, you used your avatar in like all of them.
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, it was cool.
So,
You know what I do miss about Xbox Live Arcade, and this is just a product of the time, is just like when you went to the new releases, you could know what they all were because there were only like 3 a week,
That's true.
and now there's 300 a week.
you can still do it on the Series X.
No, you can't have PlayStation. There are just so many of them now because
Yeah.
there's just so many games that come out.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I do like the fact that for the most part, Xbox limits it to like the indie titles. It's for the next 2 weeks. And then the
Okay,
AAA
that's
ones go a little further out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Xbox has a long history of being nicer to indies.
Finally, he rounds everything out with Lost Odyssey stands out as a memorable exclusive title for me. Outside of Gears, I think most everything else I played was cross-platform, but where I fell in love with games like the BioShock series, Fallout series, and so many other games that are considered classics or staples of gaming.
BioShock started out exclusive, so
It
there's
did.
that.
Yeah.
PS3 a year or 2 later, and then Fallout. Any Bethesda game may as well have just been unplayable on PlayStation, so
That's true.
because of the memory problems.
Well, I talked about Scott at length with this, but if you actually look at the back of the majority of PS3 cases, even though it is
Mhm.
a full HD system, most of the games on the PS3 will only say 720p because they were
that's so-
programmed on the 360 and ported over.
Yeah,
So they're 1080p on the 360, but only 720 on the PS3.
well, the PS3's internal is so dumb that
Yeah.
it's so hard to develop for.
I remember reading that all the time. People were like, it's such a nightmare coding on that thing.
Well, it's because you couldn't change how it allocated memory versus graphical power and stuff. It was locked at 50-50. So if you had a game that didn't look very good but really needed the memory like Skyrim, you were just screwed if you try to make it work on
Yeah.
PS3.
It bottlenecked itself so hard.
Yeah, so Skyrim especially, it was like if you get to like 60 hours in the game, it would start stuttering to like 12 frames a second because the game just couldn't remember. Because Skyrim remembers where you put every item in every room.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And so by the time you get to like 60 hours, the game would barely function. And Bethesda just straight up gave up. Sony had to actually patch the game themselves. Pretty crazy story.
Yeah, I played Skyrim on PS3, and there was a glitch in the main storyline. They didn't fix it for 6 months, so all I could do is play side quests that whole time.
That sounds right. Good stuff.
It's almost like
But anyway, let's
Zack in a
jump
locked
over.
door in Days Gone.
What? Oh, on the little home base or whatever.
Yep.
The little military base. Yeah, I remember that. Days Gone's cool. That game needs more credit.
It
I
does.
like it.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I liked it
Great.
too.
All right. This is a good group of people then. But let's jump over to what the community thought, starting with Facebook. Sean McGuire just says Ninja Gaiden. I guess Gaiden, but Gaiden's funnier to say. He must be Ninja Gaiden too, right? Because the first Ninja Gaiden was on Xbox, original.
Yeah. Well, wasn't there like Sigma and Black and...
Well, yeah, so there's Ninja Gaiden, and Ninja Gaiden Black was also on Xbox. I'm sure they did port the first Ninja Gaiden to 360 at some point. Maybe but you're right. Sigma was a PS3 version of the Xbox game,
Yeah.
and then Ninja Gaiden 2 was on 360. Either way, Ninja Gaiden rules. You're absolutely right, Sean.
Fair enough.
Alyssa, do you want to read the next one here?
Sure will. It's from Sean Coates, who actually gave us our prompt for this episode. I actually missed out on that entire generation when it was current, though I had friends who owned them. Instead, I spent those years building up my retro collection, which was a much cheaper hobby in those days.
Yeah, no doubt.
For sure. I actually didn't get an Xbox 360 until Christmas of 2013, where thanks to a miscommunication with my parents, I also got a PS3 that year as well. You lucked out, Sean.
Hell yeah, that's a hell of a miscommunication.
This is why there are many game franchises I still haven't played, especially if they debuted during that generation. Franchises like Dead Space, BioShock, and Mass Effect, just to name a few, are still in the deep recesses of my backlog.
Sean, we're
I know.
friends.
I was like, Sean,
Stop what you're doing immediately.
play those
and play
games.
Dead Space and BioShock for the love of all that is holy.
Sean, would you kindly play BioShock?
Thank
Yes, would you kindly?
I mean, dude, come on.
A man chooses.
Right. You gotta put it on the top of the pile, man. That's okay.
Oh,
What do you
We're
gotta
just-
play new games for?
We're peer pressuring poor Sean.
You don't always have to keep up.
Moving along, we have Jesper Hasselholm. I bought a 360 really late, 2012. The first games I played was the Mass Effect trilogy. The only thing I did for weeks was working and playing Mass Effect. Run through
You
each.
hear that, Sean?
Yeah, see, you can do it. Run through each games a couple times. Wow, that's a lot of Mass Effect.
Yeah.
That is.
That's my favorite
That is-
360 memory. Some of my favorite 360 games are South Park: The Stick of Truth, Forza Motorsport 4. God, thank you, Jesper. That actually just triggered a memory for me. Telltales, Walking Dead, BioShock, Red Dead Redemption, Skyrim, GTA 5, and Mass Effect. Okay, Jesper, great choices. I forgot Forza Motorsport 5 had the collector's edition, which had voiceover narration from Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May from Top Gear. I
okay.
adored the hell out of that because I'm a massive Top Gear fan. I love Jeremy, Richard, and James. And hearing three of my favorite like car commentary guys like narrating the way they do in the like car dioramas and everything was phenomenal. I forgot all about that. Thank you, Jesper.
Wow, that means nothing to me.
I'm glad. For you.
No,
don't
I'm
care.
Happy,
but
I'm
for-
happy. No,
I'm happy for you as well, CB.
But I was just
Absolutely.
like instantly, like mid sentence, my brain was transported to another place. I'm like, oh, happiness. Forgot.
Yeah, that's great. The only thing I know of Top Gear are the memes. I wonder if Jesper here has played GTA 4 and just didn't like it, or jumped right into GTA 5. Because I love GTA 4 on 360 and PS3. That's my favorite Grand Theft Auto.
My favorite is Grand Theft Auto 1. The OG.
Wow.
Okay.
Mostly because 3 forward, the moment you could just give me cheat codes right out the gate, it
Mhm.
ruined the games for me.
You don't have the restraint to not
Nope.
use them.
Just pick
I
up that
really
cell
feel-
phone and dial a tank, bro.
I don't know if that's the game's fault.
Make me work for
but
it.
Paul Hine writes in, the 360 passed me by, or more accurately, I passed it by. My younger brother had been given a PS2 around 2001, though I think my dad also wanted it for the DVD player. That's probably true. And we all played the crap out of that, especially Ratchet and Clank. When 2005 or 6 came rolling around, I made a choice to get a PS3 instead of an Xbox, mostly because of Ratchet and Clank. Exclusives do sell consoles, I guess. And a little because of the Red Ring of Death fiasco. The whole generation of games was just stellar regardless of system. Skyrim, Dead Space, Grand Theft Auto 4, and 5, Mass Effect 2 and 3. Eventually 1 did come to PlayStation. Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, and all the fantastic Ratchet and Clank I could get my hands on. I also got a PSP because of this. Damn, Paul really loves Ratchet and Clank. I don't feel like I miss a lot not having a 360, partially because I got back into World of Warcraft at that time, and work was starting to ramp up. So no Xbox FOMO for me. Cut to now, and I'm thankful that I can touch on some of the past 360 games I missed thanks to Game Pass and the Series X.
That was
There aren't,
a great generation, though.
I was just say there aren't a lot of games stranded on 360 since Xbox is so baller about backwards compatibility,
That's
which is
true.
pretty cool. I think you can even play Alan Wake's American Nightmare on
Yes, you can.
Xbox Series X if you wanted to.
And
You can.
Dead Rising 2, that,
A little prequel.
yeah.
God, I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, that game was cool.
Man.
Yeah. Jumping over to Discord. Alyssa, do you want to read this first one here?
I sure do. Nifty Plays writes, the Xbox 360 was the only Xbox console I ever owned, but I do have a lot of memories playing Call of Duty, Diablo, and most importantly, one game called Kingdoms of Amalur: The Legend of Dead Kell. I remember my brother and I would take turns playing that game all day, building new characters and beating the game repeatedly. That game and Skyrim were my first big jump into the open world RPG.
Kings of Amalur Reckoning was a base game, right? Legend of Dead Kill was a DLC.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
Right?
That's where I got a little confused. I'm like, I remember
Yeah.
Kingdoms of Amalur, but I'm like, Legend of Dead Kell.
I mean, Kingdoms of Amalur's awesome.
It
Generally.
was.
Thank you, Kurt Schilling.
Kurt Schilling, Todd McFarlane,
R.A.
that
Salvatore.
guy from R.A. Salvatore, and then the guy who did Oblivion that I always forget the name of, who's probably actually the most important piece of the puzzle for the game, but of course he's not a celebrity like everyone else is.
Yeah, but man, Kingdoms of Amalur and that entire fiasco at that studio. Ugh.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's pour one out for Rhode Island.
Yeah. Moving along, CJ Moore. The first generation Xbox 360 was officially my first console. My dad paid half and I paid the other half of the $300 that my friend at school wanted for it. I'm ashamed to say I don't remember if it was the Halo 3 or Halo 4. I can tell you really easily how to figure that out here in a second. That I spent so much time playing online, but I got to the rank of Brigadier General in SWAT, so it was worth it. I missed the interchangeable faceplate from the first gen 360 that would snap on and off. My favorite was the faceplate for Soul Calibur 4 that came with the pre-order. Some of my fondest memories are attaching third-party accessories to my console from the Red Ring of Death and using the butter knife to help the disc tray to retract. Yeah, I remember that one. Pop back out. Notably would be Halo 2, 3, 4, Gears of War 1 and 2, and his Elder Scrolls Oblivion and Skyrim, Fables 1, 2, and 3, and last and least, Kingdom for Kelflings. Man, I forgot Kingdom for Kelflings.
Dude, I remember Kingdom for Kelflings, absolutely.
When he was saying Halo 3 and 4, I thought he meant the consoles, and I'm like, Halo 3 was the green one with the orange.
Oh.
And Halo 4 was the clear, that had the clear blue controllers.
I think if it was fun enough to play online, it was probably Halo 3.
Yeah. Halo
Yeah,
3
I
was
would think
definitely, it was, Halo 3 was the banger.
Yeah. And Halo 4 was, Halo 4 also came out very late in the life cycle.
Yeah.
Like 2012, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Thomas Bex writes in, I never owned an Xbox, but some friends of mine did. When I was working with one of them on our graduation project, we would take breaks and play Halo together. I was crap and he was good, but it was fun to play co-op, and it made the stress of that project a bit lighter. Yeah, dude, Halo co-op was the OG. Never got old.
Nope.
Alan Sheck writes, 360 was my main console during my teenage years. I could go on forever. Playing through Halo 3 campaign with friends, trolling annoying players in GTA 4, bringing Rock Band to parties. Good times. I still play Kinect Sports with my kids, and in my opinion, it's still the best sports game out there.
I can agree with the Kinect Sports. I will actually tell you a funny side story. So if you had your Xbox, like I had a brain fart there for a second. With the Kinect Sports, we would always have friends over to play it. And unfortunately, the Kinect would just recognize like anybody's voice. So if you're playing golf, in the middle of somebody's backswing, you could say change club, and it would randomly change the club they were swinging with. So as they're driving, you'd be like, change club, and it would like change to a putter. You'd be like, oh, you went 4 feet. Oh,
That's so mean.
dude, it was alcoholic beverages and Kinect were the greatest pairing ever.
I'm sure that was a hell of a combination.
Oh, yes. Oh, Jacob Gunderson, though, writes in, I'm so ashamed I'm a PlayStation guy. But in high school, Elder Scrolls Oblivion was my go-to, and I had to have the horse armor. Of course you did. That was only on Xbox. So I spent the rest of my money and got a 360 membership, Oblivion, and my horse armor only played for a couple of weeks. Later, about Fable 3, I think it fell in love with that. My kids had some Xbox games, but to this day, Fable and Oblivion are the only titles I own. That's right,
horse armor.
That's right, horse boy.
My. I love so Jacob was so into Elder Scrolls that there was this one piece of DLC and he just had to have it. So he bought a whole console. I respect it.
I do too.
As someone who bought his first smartphone because there was a Tomb Raider game on it, I can relate.
Yeah.
Absurd as it is.
I don't think it's absurd.
Horse armor. Horse armor is the reason that we have all of the hell we live in now.
I was talking about the Tomb Raider game not being absurd.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember the Windows phone that came out that paired with the 360?
No.
Yeah.
I vaguely do.
I forgot all about that too.
Could you stream games to your phone?
I can't remember exactly how it worked, but I remember there was a phone that you could use in pairing with the 360.
Man, do you remember? I remember PlayStation had a phone briefly.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you could play like Final Fantasy VII on
the
it.
The PlayStation TV thing.
Well, that was another debacle.
Oh, what a weird time too. Like,
what an experimental and fun time.
It was.
Yeah.
Innovation, it's gone.
They were experimental like college kids. Drew Ross writes in, even though I had 2 Xbox 360s that red ringed on me, it remains probably my favorite gaming generation. Plus, it was during the perfect time in my life, 20s to early 30s, so I had a lot of time on my hands to game. With Xbox Live, I spent thousands of hours with friends on all of the Call of Duties, Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 being the standouts. Battlefield Bad Company games, Battlefield 3, Hardline, Rainbow Six Vegas. I think Drew might like shooters. Halo 3, Gears of War 2, plus some Minecraft, Diablo 3, and Borderlands thrown in. Single-player games also shined with games like Fallout 3, Elder Scrolls Oblivion and Skyrim, Fables 1 and 2, Mass Effect 1 and 2, Bioshock, Crackdown, Saints Row, Puzzle Quest, Skate 2, plus all the good sports games. It's great being able to go back and play them today on the Series X. I love that you left out Mass Effect 3, because that's the right choice.
That's the second time that somebody's done that.
I'm glad everyone's on the same page.
This really goes to say like something about how special the 360 was, because even though we all had the red rings, we kept going back for more.
It was a good time, man. Great, a unique console.
It was. Brandon Lloyd writes, XCOM and XCOM Enemy Unknown, but 360 days were the best multiplayer days. Call of Duty World at War, Modern Warfare 1 and 2, good times.
Yes, they were. Moving along, March Szymanski. Loved my 360. I think my favorite game for it was, strangely, Split Second.
Hell yeah.
Racing game with obstacles that would randomly go off and other ones that you could trigger yourself. Reminded me of Death Race, Jason Statham movie from 2008. So much fun. Watch the original Death Race.
I was gonna say, it's funny that you referenced the remake.
Yeah, Death Race 2000.
I think it was a Paul W.S. Anderson movie, right?
No,
the remake.
Race.
No, the remake.
Oh, yeah, the remake was because Death Race 2000 was a Roger Corman.
No, yeah. No, of course. CB, please don't think less of me.
Oh, I was
Jason Statham.
I was starting to get mad. I was like, how dare you?
You're about to go split second on me and explode an airport tower into my apartment.
Probably.
That split second was cool because you had to earn, and you could like detonate smaller things, but then you might not have enough juice saved up to detonate the big things. It was cool. What a great game. Lynn Green writes in, jumping online to the 360 to play Halo 2 and Shadowrun with some of my Adult Gamers Network clan, HEN, was always some of my best gaming memories. Shadowrun really brought us together. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend at least looking up some YouTube videos on it. My brother and I were so excited about the system that we waited in line at Walmart, being the first two to get there for over 24 hours. We found out closer to launch time that they were only getting 2 consoles with a hard drive too, so it made it worth it. A news crew from the station came into Huntsville actually and did a story about it, and we were all put on TV explaining how excited we were and with games and what we were planning on getting. If I remember correctly, it was Cameo, Call of Duty 3, Perfect Dark, and something else. Getting the 360 and all the time spent on it along the group of people I met online was simply magical. Nostalgia for the win, am I right? Oh, and I'm the one of the lucky ones who actually didn't get red ringed till almost the end of the 360 life cycle.
Ooh.
Wow.
Baby, that console.
Shadowrun was a total disrespect to the source material, but is an awesome video game nonetheless. What a great shooter. I always wanted to play more of it, but none of my friends ever wanted to play it. It was just, my dad also liked it, so we'd occasionally play, but everyone else was playing Gears and Halo, so I mean that's just kind of where you drifted. But Shadowrun was such a cool shooter, the way it introduced, incorporated magic and stuff. What an awesome game.
Also, I have to give a shout out to Lynn for being a fellow Alabamian.
Oh, is that where Huntsville is?
Yes.
It's Rocket City?
Yeah, Rocket City.
The hell? Why are you so learned, CB?
Well, there's a Space Rocket Center there, so
and the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Got it. Space.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah, space. It's my wheelhouse, man.
It's the final frontier.
Boldly going.
Caramel Bear writes, I've said this before, but the Xbox 360 was the console that got me officially back into gaming. I took a hiatus from N64 to the second year of the Xbox 360 because I was focused on music and touring. That's awesome. I remember being invited to a LAN party where we had 4 TVs with 4 Xbox 360s playing Halo 2 and having a blast. I was curious about Halo that I saved up to buy the 360 at work with Halo 1 and 2 to play on my days off. Halo's story and gameplay got me obsessed with gaming again, that I decided to explore other titles on the 360, such as Fear, Condemned, BioShock, and other horror-related titles. If it wasn't for the Xbox 360, I truly believe that I wouldn't be gaming today. I've been in a rut recently, and I'm trying to find my passion in this hobby again, and I've been noticing that playing older titles fulfills that excitement rather than the newer stuff. I owe the 360 a lot for creating a lot of memories and amazing experiences when devs took chances.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, the Xbox 360, for giving us Caramel Bear.
Yes.
Yes. Also, man, I miss LAN parties.
Hell yeah. Pizza and LAN? Oh my God.
Those were the days. All right. Well, lastly, we have Tim, who wants me to make sure that we pronounce his last name right. Thane. This question made me think. I don't love looking back at that time of my life. I feel like I wasted my 20s, but I have great memories of the Xbox 360. I love the achievements. You can look back at the very beginning. My first 5 games, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, great choice. Dead Rising, great choice. Splinter Cell Double Agent, never played.
Great choice.
The Club, forgot about that.
Dude, The Club is awesome.
I forgot.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
Yeah.
And X-Men Origins Wolverine. I'll give you that one.
Oh, that game's good as hell on 360.
On 360, yeah.
Yeah.
Not a bad start. Some favorites through the years were all the classic Assassin's Creeds.
Mm-hmm.
Kane and Lynch Dead Men, The Saboteur.
Oh, dude, hell yeah. Kane
yeah,
and
you
Lynch.
forgot about Kane and Lynch, didn't you?
Yeah, dude, that game's... Oh.
Brutal Legend. Spider-Man Dimensions, which is honestly one of my favorite Spider-Man games.
Yeah. I mean, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions is probably what led to the Spider-Verse movie.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh,
Straight up.
True.
I loved the entire Spider-Man Noir section.
Oh, yeah.
That was great. Crackdown and The Darkness, just to name a few. Luckily, I never had the dreaded Red Ring of Death. Lucky you. However, I did get a second console. I got the slim model when the disc drive on my original crapped out. I play more games than ever now, even with less time owning all 3 major consoles. But back then, I was a one console gamer, and it just seemed like simpler times. Yes, I will agree.
Dude,
Yeah.
The Club was a racing... It was trying to make a shooter into a racing game. What a cool idea that was.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my God, The Club is awesome.
I will.
And I gotta say, Kane and Lynch and Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days, I love those games.
Oh, yeah.
Those games are incredible. Oh my
It's
God.
a series that
the
I
first
feel
Kane and Lynch,
that should like revive it somehow.
they should at least get, ported, touched up a little bit, because the first Kane and Lynch was definitely a spiritual successor to Freedom Fighters, the way you could boss around your little gang and stuff. But it was just also, so cinematic. And then the second game, the way they had that, it was like somebody with a camcorder was following you the whole time. You know, like that kind of videographer style, which is cool because I remember there's one mission where Kane and Lynch are naked, so it's all pixelated like it was on the news or something. Dude,
Yeah.
oh man, I love Kane and Lynch. I haven't thought about those games in a long time.
Well, I'm just glad other people played Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions to me, because remember the other Spider-Man games like Friend or Foe?
Right? Yeah, that was a PS2 retelling of the Raimi trilogy.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what all the trailers made it seem like. But then when you played it was nothing like that at all.
Yeah, there was the other Spider-Man game.
Edge of Time.
Yeah, that's
was
the one.
around
Yeah.
that era. Yeah.
But yeah, Shattered Dimensions, like what a phenomenal game.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. What a brilliant concept. And it's the kind of superhero game you're never going to get again, because now whenever somebody uses a comic book license, they want to build their own universe and take it seriously and stuff. And this was pulled straight from the comics.
Yeah.
We'll just never get anything like it again.
Man. And back when Crackdown was good.
Yeah, the first Crackdown was amazing.
Also, The Darkness was just great.
Yeah, The Darkness, I always remember because you can watch the entirety of To Kill a Mockingbird
Yes.
in the game, which is funny to me, but also it just had a really great story of, love.
It did, yeah.
And one last thought about Kane and Lynch. I thought it was super cool that in the multiplayer, the number 1 and 2 ranked person in the world were Kane and Lynch, their character models.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because otherwise you just played random gangsters. What a cool idea.
It's been fun waxing
Right.
nostalgic.
Yeah, definitely. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thanks, guys, for coming with. That was a wonderful look into my history, and I'm glad you guys are here for it. But thanks to everyone for listening. This episode of The Gaming Outsider was produced by Kevin Honigford, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Semage and Metroid Metal. You can find him at semagemusic.com. Please be sure to leave us any feedback if you have or questions or concerns. You can email us at feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Alyssa, thanks for being here this week. Do you have any parting words you want to share with the audience?
I've been loving the TV show Poker Face. I don't know, have either of you watched it?
Nope.
Oh, hell yeah.
I love it. I'm a huge fan of Knives Out, and this is from the director of Knives Out. Every episode is pretty much standalone besides the first episode that sets up the story, but it's just, there's a murder case every week. They show the murder at the beginning of the episode, or in the first half of the episode, and then it kind of rewinds back in time and shows Natasha Lyonne's character and how she knows the murder victims or the person that committed the murder, and just how things played out, and she can also tell when people are lying. It's just a really cool concept, and every episode is just a blast to watch, and different actors in every episode. It's great. If you like Knives Out, I think you'd like Poker Face.
All right.
Yeah, I'm with you. That was going to be my recommendation as well.
I didn't mean to steal it.
No, you're good. Yeah, Charlie Cale is just such a cool main character,
Yeah.
and I love the first episode. It was a great start, but that second episode was, I think it's one of the coolest crime stories I've seen in a while. It was just so great seeing this little, truck stop town.
Yeah,
And-
that episode.
How these people just kind of know each other, and I think it's so great. And each episode's, it's kind of like a little mini crime movie. So I've been stretching them out, trying to watch like one a week, trying to just
I haven't binged it. I've been doing the same thing as you.
Yeah, trying to make them a little special, make them last a little bit. But what about you, CB? You have anything you want to share with the audience before we get out of here?
I'm finally getting to my backlog, and I've been watching Reacher.
I still haven't watched that.
Man, that is great. Like it,
I love it.
It definitely feels very different than the Tom Cruise movies because the character's more like the books.
Right, Alan Richardson actually, looks like Jack Reacher.
Looks like and tall.
Right.
So,
well, and no shade on Tom Cruise, because I actually do love Tom Cruise, but when this guy Alan Richardson in the Reacher TV show tells you he's going to beat you to death with a phone, I believe him.
Yeah, like he is intimidating.
Right. When Tom Cruise says it, I'm like, okay, he'll try.
Like,
I'm sure he'll try.
You wanted this. I'm like,
right.
You're small.
Yeah.
Go away.
I mean, you could jump out of planes and be fine, but
You're right.
beat me up with a telephone.
I have no illusions. Tom Cruise. I'm sure Tom Cruise could kick my ass.
Oh, I'm
But
sure.
I just don't.
too.
He doesn't seem brutal enough to murder me with a telephone. That's
True.
all.
Yeah, but I just love it. It feels like if House was a army cop,
Okay.
where it's just
So
like
his-
the thought processes going on through his head.
And his complete lack of bedside manner.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why House is like my favorite doctor ever.
Right.
Hmm.
But yeah, dude, Reacher rules.
Dude,
Another great crime show.
it really is, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't watch it when it was like fresh.
Think about it this way. Now you're closer to season 2.
I know.
True.
Yeah.
So I've been barreling through that, and also started watching Lego Masters, which, by the way, what's his name? Will Arnett.
Arnett.
I cannot stand him.
He's gotten. I'm with you.
Oh, I love like the Lego Masters series. Watching these people build like incredible things from just nothing, but he is honestly one of the most annoying TV personalities out there. Like, I can't stand him.
Yeah, which is a shame because obviously he's Job and I love him there. But it just as his career has gotten more successful, he's obviously bought into his own hype.
Yes.
And he's lost the magic.
Yeah. Lego
can't stand
Batman
him anymore.
was great. But when
I
when it's
loved
Will
Lego
Arnett
Batman.
being Will Arnett, stop.
I'm with you, man.
So I'm glad we see eye to eye on both things.
Right. Well, until next week, I'm Zach Parkerson. Thanks again for you guys joining me, Chris Baronsmeyer, Alyssa White. We are the Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.